very warm welcome to each one of you to the ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave 2026. Please join me in extending a warm welcome Shrimati Dansari Anasuya, Honorable Minister for Panchayat Raj, Women and Child Welfare, Government of Telangana.
While others carried school bags, I carried a rifle. I returned to education with determination, completed my PhD in political science and began working within the framework of the Constitution. కష్టాన్ని ఇష్టపడ్డా కాబట్టి ఈ స్థాయి వరకు రాగలిగిన.
May I request our esteemed guest, Professor Balakista Reddy.
The mantra for all of us, earlier we used to say perform or perish, but today I can tell you update or outdate.
Please welcome Mr. Rahul Ataluri, CEO and co-founder Next Wave.
How do we make or nurture students to become builders? Or how do we nurture them to become problem solvers? How do we make our students identify problems?
We have with us Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Director ICFI.
Which institution are you from? దమ్ముంటే మీ కాలేజ్ పేరు చెప్పండి. See, nobody answers this question. మనము ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేయనిది ఏదైనా జరిగితే ఏ విధంగా హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి. This is the only thing, the summary of life that we have to prepare you for, you have to prepare yourselves for.
Smart classrooms reimagined by a young innovator, Aryaman Maheshwari.
Talk to everybody. You never know what you can find in a conversation.
Appala Sai Kiran, the youngest investment banker.
If you want financial literacy, delete your social media.
Are degrees becoming secondary to skills starting 2026? I'd like opinions from all of you.
Now the learning has shifted from knowing to doing. You should be able to do if you have learned.
Degrees are just the entry tickets to enter the industry. It is needed, but at the same time, skill is much more needed.
And we struggle, we go to other countries to pursue higher education and get the degrees. So both the ways it is there, but its importance is slowly decreasing and focus is on skill set.
Ms. Janvi Dangeti, Global Indian Analog Astronaut, Scientist, Astronaut Candidate, Pilot in Training and Advanced Scuba Diver.
I chose a career not for money, to break the barriers and move beyond the humanity, but I always enjoyed the fear.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. Shreyasi Sen, an actress, a performer.
तू ही मुझको बता दे चाहूं मैं या ना.
Smart Ed Conclave 2026.
Can I get a quick hello? Can I get a quick wave back? Can we get some energy in the house? Good morning. Why is everybody so dull? Good morning. Some more energy, please. Good morning. Amazing. All right. Hello, namaste, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very warm welcome to each one of you to the ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave 2026. A platform where ideas meet innovation, where policy meets practice, and where the future of education is not just discussed but designed. Andariki na hృదయపూర్వక స్వాగతం. నేను మీ హోస్ట్ దీక్షా నవాని, ఏబీపీ దేశం స్మార్ట్ ఎడ్ కాన్క్లేవ్ కి మీ అందరినీ ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాను. Well, I am your host for the day, Diksha Navani, and it's an absolute privilege to be here with such an inspiring gathering of visionaries, educators, policy makers, industry leaders, and young change makers. Today, we are here to explore one powerful thought: How do we transform education to transform the future? From classrooms to careers, from digital Bharat to the space economy, from passion to purpose, we are about to witness conversations that truly matter. Let us begin this impactful day on an auspicious note, but right before that, we shall have a countdown. And can we also put our hands together as we begin the Smart Ed Conclave 2026 by ABP Desam. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, to invoke wisdom and celebrate the light of knowledge, may I request our esteemed guest, Professor Balakista Reddy, Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education, to kindly come on stage and light the auspicious lamp. I'd also like to invite Mr. Nagesh, Editor, ABP Desam, and Ms. Jaya, Head of Revenue, ABP Live, to kindly join our guest on stage for the lamp lighting. Well, let's put our hands together as we officially illuminate the path to a brighter educational future. Thank you, everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they say true leadership is not defined by position, but by the lives it transforms. With a strong focus on empowering women, strengthening rural institutions, and advancing child welfare, she continues to play a pivotal role in shaping a progressive and equitable Telangana. Please join me in extending a warm welcome with a huge round of applause, Srimati Dansari Anasuya, Honorable Minister for Panchayat Raj, Women and Child Welfare, Government of Telangana, a dynamic leader committed to grassroots, governance and inclusive development. Over to you, Mr. Nagesh.
సీతక్క గారిని స్మార్ట్ ఎడ్ కాంక్లేవ్కి పిలవడానికి ఒక పర్పస్ ఉంది. అడవి బిడ్డగా ప్రస్థానం మొదలుపెట్టి అణగారిన వర్గాల గొంతుకగా మారి నేడు శాసనసభలో ప్రజాప్రతినిధిగా వెలుగొందుతున్న అసాధారణ వ్యక్తిత్వం ఆమెది. తుపాకీ పట్టిన చేత్తోనే కలం పట్టి పిహెచ్డి సాధించి చదువుకి వయసుతో సంబంధం లేదు, సంకల్పం ఉంటే చాలు అని నిరూపించినటువంటి ధీశాలి. ప్రజాక్షేత్రంలో ఆమె ఒక యోధురాలు, పాలనలో ఒక మాతృమూర్తి. అడవి మార్గాల్లో అలుపెరగని బాటసారిగా కష్టాల్లో ఉన్న వారికి కొండంత అండగా నిలిచే మన పంచాయతీరాజ్, గ్రామీణాభివృద్ధి, స్త్రీ శిశు సంక్షేమ శాఖ మంత్రివర్యులు డాక్టర్ అనసూయ సీతక్క గారు విద్యార్థులకు స్ఫూర్తి ప్రదాతగా, ఆదర్శవంతమైన నాయకురాలిగా ఈ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సమ్మిట్లోకి వారికి సాదర స్వాగతం. థ్యాంక్ యూ మ్యామ్.
Breaking limits, building lives, a journey of grit and inspiration. కన్క్లేవ్కు ఆహ్వానించిన ఏబీపీ దేశం ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కంక్లేవ్ 2026కు మరి ఆహ్వానించినందుకు హృదయపూర్వక శుభాకాంక్షలు, నమస్కారాలు. ఐ స్టాండ్ బిఫోర్ యూ నాట్ యాజ్ సమ్వన్ ఎక్స్ట్రాడినరీ, బట్ యాజ్ సమ్వన్ హూ రిఫ్యూజ్డ్ టు బీ కన్ఫైడ్ మై సర్కమ్స్టెన్సెస్. My life has been a journey of breaking limits imposed by geography, poverty and conflict. I was born in Mulugu district, it is a revolutionary area. As an Adivasi child, survival was our first lesson. Conversation were about fear and struggle and fights, not careers and classrooms. Inequality was not something we read about, it was something we lived. At 14 years, Influenced by my surroundings, I joined the Naxals movement. While others carried school bags, I carried a rifle. I believed resistance was the only path to justice. Those years taught me courage, commitment, discipline, and I fought for Jal Jangil Jamin, for dignity and fair wages and land rights for my people. But over time, I realized a powerful truth. Anger can spark change, but it cannot build a society. Force can demand attention, but it cannot sustain justice. That realization changed my life. I choose books over bullets. I returned to education with determination. Completed my PhD in political science from Usmania University. Studied LLB, MA, LLM, and began working within the framework of the Constitution. With education, I moved from confrontation to constructive reform. Education, I learned, is not just about degrees. It is about awakening the mind. It is the power to question injustice and uplift communities. Once I believed change required a weapon. Today I believe change requires wisdom. Over revealed injustice, the other showed me how to overcome it. Today the young minds here, your background does not define your future. Your courage, your choice, and your education do. Breaking limbs is difficult. Building lives take patience. But when grit meets purpose, transformation becomes inevitable. Once I carried a rifle believing it would protect my people. Today I carry the Constitution believing it will empower them. Whatever field we are in, we must continue to question injustice. We must stay close to the people and serve them. This is not a platform for political rhetoric. However, you are all aware of the prevailing situation in the country. The foundational principles of the Constitution drafted by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, unity in diversity, secularism, socialism, and federalism, are increasingly under attack. We are argued to work with the protection of the Constitution as our foremost duty. It is through the rights guaranteed by the Constitution that my journey began. From a remote tribal hamlet to this very platform today. Therefore, I reaffirm my commitment to dedicate myself till my last breath to the protection and preservation of the Constitution. In my childhood, I never thought I become a Naxalite. When I am a Naxalite, I never thought I become a MLA. When I am a MLA, I never thought I become again student. When I was a student in Usmania University, I never thought I become a minister. But నేను ఎప్పుడు కోరుకునేది ప్రజలతో ఉండాలి, ప్రజల కోసం పనిచేయాలి, ప్రజలతో కలిసి జీవించాలి. బట్ నాలెడ్జ్ అనేది అది ఎంత తీసుకున్నా తరిగిపోనిది. కాబట్టి ప్రజల నుంచి, మేధావుల నుంచి లేదా తరగతి గదుల నుంచి నాలెడ్జ్ని పొందాలి, అది అందరికీ పంచాలి. శక్తి ఉన్నంత వరకు శ్రమ చేయాలి, పబ్లిక్తో ఉండాలి. ఇదే నేను తీసుకునేటువంటి మెయిన్ ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ అందరి నుంచి. కాబట్టి నేను నా 10th క్లాస్లో స్టడీ ఆగిపోయినా ఆఫ్టర్ 10th ఐ జాయిన్డ్ ఇన్ నక్సల్స్ మూమెంట్. బట్ అక్కడ కూడా నక్సల్స్ మూమెంట్లో నేను చాలా అంటే కమిట్మెంట్ కానీ ధైర్యాన్ని, డిసిప్లిన్ అండ్ రెస్పెక్ట్ ఇవ్వడం, సామాన్యులతో ఎలా కలిసి జీవించాలి, పేదల్ని రెస్పెక్ట్ చేసుకోవడం, గౌరవించుకోవడం, ఇవన్నీ నేర్చుకున్నా. కాబట్టి ఈరోజు నాకు ఎలాంటి పొలిటికల్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ లేదు, ఎకనామికల్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ లేదు, ఫ్యామిలీ ఏం బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ లేదు. ఐఎమ్ ఓన్లీ ట్రైబల్, ఆదివాసీ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, ట్రైబల్ విలేజ్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. ఫ్యామిలీలో ఇద్దరు ఎన్కౌంటర్లో చనిపోయినా, మరి పోలీసుల చేత మా బ్రదర్ హస్బెండ్ చంపబడ్డప్పటికీ ఆ తర్వాత నన్ను నేను ఈ రూపంలో కష్టపడుతూ ఎదిగినాం. మాకు ఎలాంటి ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఏది ఉండేది కాదు. కష్టాన్ని ఇష్టపడ్డా కాబట్టి ఈ స్థాయి వరకు రాగలిగిన. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా చేయాల్సింది చాలా ఉంది. ఎందుకంటే సమాజం మన నుంచి చాలా కోరుకుంటా ఉంది. మా లాంటి ట్రైబల్ ఏరియాలో, బ్యాక్వర్డ్ ఏరియాలో ఎంత చేసినా తక్కువే ఉంటుంది. సో అందుకోసం అంకిత భావంతో పనిచేయాలి. ఎక్కడైనా లోపాలు జరిగినా సరిదిద్దుకుంటూ స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ రావడానికి పొలిటికల్ లైఫ్లో దాదాపుగా 20 years పట్టింది. అంతకుముందు విప్లవోద్యమంలో ఒక 10 years. నేను చిన్నతనంలోనే ఉద్యమాల్లోకి వెళ్ళినాం కాబట్టి మరి ఆ ఎక్స్పీరియన్సు, ఆ యొక్క అబ్జర్వేషన్స్, పాఠాలు అవన్నీ కలగలిస్తే ఈరోజు ఇక్కడ ఉండగలిగిన. సో చాలామంది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అంటే ఓన్లీ ఎస్సీ ఎస్టీలకేనా అనేది వస్తుంది. కానీ భారతదేశంలో ఉన్న ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో రైట్స్ ఇవ్వబడింది. అది యూజ్ చేసుకుంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరి గౌరవము, హక్కులు కాపాడబడతాయి. ఈరోజు కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఉంది కాబట్టే నేను ఇక్కడి వరకు రాగలిగిన. ఒక ట్రైబల్ ఉమెన్గా లైఫ్ అటు ఇటు ఉద్యమాల వైపు వెళ్ళి అక్కడి నుంచి సరే బోనస్గా లైఫ్ ఇక్కడ దాకా బతికి ఉన్న కాబట్టి ఈ బతికి ఉన్న లైఫ్ను కూడా పబ్లిక్ కోసం సేవ చేయాలనే సంకల్పంతో ఈ డెమోక్రటిక్ స్పేస్లో కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఇచ్చినటువంటి రైట్స్ను యూజ్ చేసుకొని మరి ఇక్కడ వరకు రాగలిగినాం. కాబట్టి ఖచ్చితంగా మన అంబేద్కర్ గారు చెప్తారు, మీకోసం పనిచేస్తే మీలోనే ఉండిపోతావు, ఇతరుల కోసం పనిచేస్తే అందరి గుండెలలో ఉండిపోతాం. సో మనకంటూ ఒక ప్లేస్, మనం పుడతాం, చచ్చిపోతాం. బర్త్ అండ్ డెత్ మధ్యలో ఈ టైం ఎవరి కోసం? ఎవరి జీవితాలను బాగు చేయడం కోసం. మనం, మన ఫ్యామిలీస్, మన సరౌండింగ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళ కోసం కూడా మన టైము, మన ఎఫర్ట్స్, మన మేధస్సును ఉపయోగించినప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా మనకంటూ ఈ సమాజంలో మన అనంతరం మిగులుతుంది. కొంచెమైనా మన గురించి స్మరించుకుంటారు. ఈరోజు ఎంతోమంది మహానుభావుల గురించి మనకు గాంధీ గారు డైరెక్ట్గా తెలుసా, అంబేద్కర్ గారు డైరెక్ట్గా తెలుసా, భగత్ సింగ్ డైరెక్ట్గా తెలుసా, నెహ్రూ గారు డైరెక్ట్గా తెలుసా? డైరెక్ట్గా తెలియదు. వాళ్ళ ఐడియాస్, వాళ్ళ స్ట్రగుల్, వాళ్ళ లైఫ్ స్టోరీ అవి మనందరికీ ఇన్స్పిరేషన్గా ఉంటుంది. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా అందరూ ఏబీపీ ఛానల్ వాళ్ళు, అదేవిధంగా ఇక్కడ వచ్చినటువంటి స్టూడెంట్స్ అండ్ జర్నలిస్ట్, అదర్ ఇంటలెక్చువల్స్ అందరూ కూడా ఒక్కొక్క గ్రేట్ పర్సనాలిటీస్ యొక్క లైఫ్ను ఇన్స్పిరేషన్గా తీసుకుంటే ఖచ్చితంగా మీరు నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్కు ఇన్స్పిరేషన్గా ఉండగలుగుతారు, స్ఫూర్తి ఇవ్వగలుగుతారు. స్ఫూర్తిదాతలే ఈ దేశ నిర్మాతలు. ఎలాంటి స్ఫూర్తి లేకుండా మన లైఫ్ సజీవంగా ఏదో అలా ఏమంటారు అచేతన వ్యవస్థలో ఉంటే నో యూజ్ ఫర్ దిస్ సొసైటీ. కాబట్టి మనం ఈ సొసైటీకి ఏమైనా ఇవ్వాలి, ఈ దేశానికి ఏమైనా ఇవ్వాలి, మన కంట్రిబ్యూషన్ ఏదో ఒకటి ఉండాలి. అది ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ ఎంచుకుంటే బాగుంటుందని కోరుకుంటూ నాకు ఈ అవకాశం కల్పించినటువంటి మరి సంస్థ యాజమాన్యానికి మీ అందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు, శుభాకాంక్షలు.
సీతక్క గారు చెప్పినట్లు ఒకప్పుడు ప్రజల కోసం కనిపెట్టారు, ఇప్పుడు ప్రజలతోనే ఉంటున్నారు. ఒకప్పుడు ఈ వ్యవస్థకు వ్యతిరేకంగా మీరు రెబిలియన్ చేశారు, ఇప్పుడు ఆ వ్యవస్థలో భాగంగా చట్టం చేస్తున్నారు. ఈ రెండు ఫేజుల్ని చూస్తే ఎలా అనిపిస్తుంది? మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా ఊహించుకున్నారు అలాగా?
అంటే నేను ఎప్పుడు ఊహించుకోలే. జనరల్గా ఉద్యమాల్లోకి వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు చచ్చిపోతామనే డిసైడ్ అయ్యి వెళ్ళినాం. బట్ అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ ఇట్లా బయటికి రావాల్సి వచ్చింది. సరే, ఉద్యమాలలో వచ్చినటువంటి రకరకాల మార్పులు చేర్పులతో వచ్చినాం. కానీ బయటకు వచ్చిన తర్వాత కూడా లైఫ్ ఇట్లా ఏదో రొటీన్గా ఉండకూడదు. చిన్నతనంలోనే ఒక లక్ష్యంతో వెళ్ళినాం మనం. సో అక్కడ కొంత సక్సెస్ కాకున్నా కొన్ని అంశాల మీద పోరాటాలు చేయడము, పబ్లిక్ అవేర్నెస్ ఇవ్వడము, ఇవి చేయగలిగే పరిస్థితిలో కొంత చేయగలిగినాం. సో ఈరోజు ల్యాండ్స్ ట్రైబల్ ఏరియాలో రైట్ వచ్చిందంటే అది మా లాంటి విప్లవోద్యమ మూమెంట్స్ ద్వారా వచ్చినటువంటి సో కొంత అవేర్నెస్. కానీ ఇట్లా వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఇట్లా బయటకు వస్తాము, ఇంత లాంగ్ జర్నీ ఇదంతా ఊహించుకోలేదు. ఎప్పుడో ఒక రోజు నా బ్రదర్ నా హస్బెండ్ లాగా ఎన్కౌంటర్లో నేను కూడా చచ్చిపోవాల్సినటువంటి వాళ్ళమే. బట్ ఈరోజు ఉన్నా కాబట్టి ఖచ్చితంగా ఈ యొక్క పీరియడ్ను బతికున్నంత కాలాన్ని పబ్లిక్తో ఉండాలి, పబ్లిక్ సేవ చేయాలనే సంకల్పంతో మళ్ళీ పాలిటిక్స్లోకి ఎంటర్ అవ్వడం.
అన్ని సంవత్సరాలు అక్కడ ఉన్న తర్వాత మీకు ఏ మూమెంట్లో అనిపించింది అంటే ఇది కాదు రైట్ పాతు, ఇంకొక రకంగా కూడా మనం పబ్లిక్కి సేవ్ చేయొచ్చు అని ఏ మూమెంట్లో మీకు అనిపించింది?
వాస్తవానికి ఉద్యమాలలో వచ్చినటువంటి చిన్న డిస్టర్బెన్స్ను అవి మేజర్గా సరే అక్కడ పోలీస్ అటాకా లేకుంటే ఇంకా తిండి లేని రోజులు చనిపోవడాలు ఇవన్నీ అప్పుడు కాలే. కానీ మూమెంట్స్లో పర్సనల్ లైఫ్స్లలో వచ్చిన చిన్న డిస్టర్బెన్స్ అంటే పెద్ద అంటే సైద్ధాంతికంగా ఉండేటువంటి డిస్టర్బెన్స్లతోటి కొంత బయటికి వెళ్ళి ఏదైనా చేస్తే బాగుండు అనేది అప్పుడు.
ఈ క్రమంలో ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది మీకు ఎలా ఉపయోగపడింది ఈ మొత్తం జర్నీలో? ఇది ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సమ్మిట్ కాబట్టి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది మీకు ఏ రకంగా ఉపయోగపడింది?
ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మీరు చూసినప్పుడు దేశంలో టోటల్గా లిటరసీ అనేది బాగా తక్కువ ఉన్నది, లెస్ ఉంది ట్రైబల్ కమ్యూనిటీస్లో. యాజ్ ఎ ట్రైబల్ గర్ల్గా ఆ రోజు నేను 10th నా స్టడీస్ అయిపోయినప్పటికీ మధ్యలో నేను ప్రెగ్నెంట్ లేడీగా 8 months ఉన్నప్పుడు నన్ను పోలీసులు అరెస్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆ గ్యాప్లో ఇంటికి వచ్చిన మళ్ళీ మా ఊరికి వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను మళ్ళీ చదవడం అట్లా ఒక 6 months టైంలో చదివి మళ్ళీ ఎగ్జామ్స్ అటెండ్ చేసి మళ్ళీ లోపలికి వెళ్ళిన. చిన్న బాబు 2 months ఉన్నప్పుడు అమ్మ అంటే వేరే బంధువులకు ఇచ్చేసి అప్పుడు మళ్ళీ నేను ఒకసారి అరెస్ట్ అయినా ప్రెగ్నెంట్తో ఉన్నప్పుడు. మళ్ళీ లోపలికి వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ డిస్టర్బెన్స్తో బయటకు వచ్చినప్పుడు అంటే నేనంతా ఒకసారి ఆలోచించిన మన లైఫ్లో మన పెద్దవాళ్ళు చాలా గొప్ప మేధావులు కూడా చెప్పారు. చిన్నతనంలో ఉమెన్ పిల్లల అంటే తల్లిదండ్రుల మీద, పెళ్ళైన తర్వాత భర్త మీద, ఓల్డ్ ఏజ్ అయిన తర్వాత కొడుకుల మీద డిపెండ్ అవుతారు అని. కానీ ఈ అన్ని కాలాలలో ఆస్తి అంతస్తు అన్నీ పోతాయి వస్తాయి. బట్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది మనతోటే ఉంటుంది కదా, మనం నలుగురికి ఇవ్వగలుగుతాం, పంచగలుగుతాం. కాబట్టి మన ఆత్మగౌరవాన్ని, సెల్ఫ్ రెస్పెక్ట్, సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ విల్ బిల్డ్ ఓన్లీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అని నాకు అనిపించి సో 10th ఆగిపోయిన స్టడీస్ మళ్ళీ నేను మొదలుపెట్టి ఎక్కడైతే నేను కోర్టులో నేను అరెస్ట్ అయినప్పుడు సరెండర్ అయినప్పుడు నాకు లాయర్గా పనిచేసిన ఆయన దగ్గర నేను ఆఫ్టర్ 5 years తర్వాత 5 years కోర్టు చుట్టూ తిరిగిన కేసులకు, వరంగల్ కోర్టుకు. అప్పుడే నేను ఇక్కడ పడాల రామారెడ్డి లా కాలేజ్లో LLB కంప్లీట్ చేసిన. ఏ లాయర్ అయితే నా కేసెస్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ చేసి నన్ను బయటికి తీసుకొచ్చారు ఆఫ్టర్ 5 years తర్వాత అదే లాయర్ దగ్గర నేను జూనియర్గా మళ్ళీ బ్లాక్ కోట్ వేసుకొని వెళ్ళిన. అదే కోర్టులో వరంగల్ కోర్టులో నేను నక్సల్స్ అక్యూజ్డ్గా చేతులు కట్టుకొని నిలబడేది. ఆఫ్టర్ 5 years తర్వాత బ్లాక్ కోట్ వేసుకొని నాకు అక్కడికే వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. ఇది నా ఫస్ట్ సక్సెస్. అది కూడా ఎందుకంటే ఆ బ్లాక్ కోర్టులో జస్టిస్ ఉంటుంది, తర్వాత ఎవరి దగ్గర తలంచకుండా కొంత ఇండిపెండెన్స్గా మనం చేసుకోగలుగుతామని ఆ వృత్తిని ఎంచుకున్నాను.
ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఇచ్చింది చాలా.
ఆ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అనేది నాకు చాలా కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఇచ్చింది. నాకు మినిస్టర్ ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు కూడా ట్రైబల్ ఉమెన్ నక్సల్స్ నుంచి వచ్చింది అని కొంత ఏం చదువుకున్నదని అడిగినప్పుడు ఇవన్నీ కొంత అప్పుడే నేను PhD కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయి LLM మన ఉస్మానియాలో ఫైనల్ ఇయర్లో ఉన్నా. అప్పుడు నాయన సీతకి ఇంత చదివిందా అని అక్కడ అధిష్టానం నుంచి కూడా నాకు అది ఇచ్చి
సీతక్క మీరు చాలా రిమోట్ ఏరియా నుంచి వచ్చారు. సో ఇప్పుడు రిమోట్ ఏరియాని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నారు యాజ్ ఏ ప్రజాప్రతినిధిగా. సో అండ్ మీకు ఒక ఛాన్స్ వచ్చింది ఇప్పుడు మీరుండే మినిస్ట్రీలో కూడా చైల్డ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్, అంగన్వాడీలు కానీ లేకపోతే చిన్నపిల్లల దగ్గర నుంచే ఎలాగ గ్రోనప్ చేయాలనేది ఒక ఛాన్స్ వచ్చింది. బాగా రిమోట్ ఏరియాలో ఉన్న పిల్లల కోసం మీరు ప్రత్యేక శ్రద్ధ పెట్టి ఏం చేస్తున్నారు?
యాక్చువల్గా మా దగ్గర రిమోట్ ట్రైబల్ ఏరియాలలో స్కూల్స్, రోడ్స్, ఇంకా కొన్ని విలేజ్లలో కరెంటు, ముఖ్యంగా మైగ్రేటెడ్ ఛత్తీస్గఢ్ నుంచి వచ్చిన ట్రైబ్స్ ఉన్నారు. డీప్ ఫారెస్ట్లో ఉన్నటువంటి విలేజ్లే కొద్దిగా ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్నా కూడా వాటికి మేము వేరే వేరే ఫండ్స్ మొబిలైజ్ చేసి గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి రకరకాలుగా స్కూల్స్ ఇవ్వడము, అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్, తర్వాత ఇవి సోలార్ విద్యుత్ ఇట్లాంటివన్నీ పెడుతున్నాము. కరోనా టైంలో కూడా ఎక్కువ ఫోకస్ పెట్టి వాళ్ళ ఆహార ఇబ్బందిగా ఉంటే ఎక్కువ అక్కడే చేయడం జరిగింది. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను పంచాయతీరాజ్ శాఖ మినిస్టర్గా కూడా ఉన్నా కాబట్టి రోడ్స్ వేసుకుంటున్నాము, బ్రిడ్జెస్ కట్టుకుంటున్నాము, ఈ అంగన్వాడీ బిల్డింగ్స్ ఎక్కువ ఇచ్చుకుంటున్నాము. తర్వాత ప్రతి హ్యాబిటేషన్కు ఈ ఫుడ్ వెళ్ళేటట్టుగా, ఫీడింగ్ వెళ్ళేటట్టుగా నిర్ణయాలు తీసుకుంటున్నాము. ఎక్కువ సెంటర్స్, అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్ పెంచుతున్నాము. అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్ అంటే ఒక స్కూల్ లాగా ఉండాలని ఈ రీసెంట్లీ మేము యూనిఫాము, తర్వాత కరికులము, అంటే ఓన్లీ ఫీడింగ్ గేమ్స్ అట్లా ఉండేది అంతకుముందు. ఈ 1.5 ఇయర్లో మేము దాన్ని స్కూల్ స్టాండర్డ్ లాగా తీసుకొస్తా ఉన్నాము. సో ఇంకా చాలా ఎఫర్ట్స్ పెట్టాలి. చాలా ట్రైబల్ ఏరియా అంతా, అందుకనే ట్రైబల్ ఏరియా అంతా ఒక టైప్ ఉంటుంది, ప్లేన్ ఏరియా అంతా ఒక టైప్ ఉంటుంది. సో ట్రైబల్ ఏరియాలో కొంచెం స్పెషల్ ఫోకస్ పెట్టాలని కొన్ని స్కీమ్స్ ఎక్కువ తీసుకొస్తా ఉన్నాం.
ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఉన్న పిల్లలంతా కూడా మీ బిడ్డల ఏజ్లో ఉంటారు. సో మీరు చాలా చాలా తర్వాత, చాలా కాలం తర్వాత మీరు ఎడ్యుకేషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. చాలామంది ఇప్పుడున్న ఏజ్లో పిల్లలు చాలా డిస్ట్రాక్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయి చదువు విషయంలో. సో మీ లైఫ్ నుంచి ఏం చెప్తారు ఈ డిస్ట్రాక్ట్ అయ్యే పిల్లలకి? ఎందుకంటే పిహెచ్డి చేయడం అనేది విత్ దట్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఈజ్ నాట్ సో ఈజీ. సో మీరేం చెప్పదలుచుకున్నారు వాళ్ళు?
యాక్చువల్గా ఎవరైనా అనుకుంటే ఏదైనా సాధ్యమవుతుంది. ఇంపాసిబుల్ అనేది ఏం లేదు, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ పాసిబుల్. అది మనం ఎఫర్ట్స్ పెట్టడం, కష్టపడడం. సో నాకు ఇంకా చదువుకోవాలని ఉంది. ఈ మధ్యకాలంలో నేను సెకండ్ పిహెచ్డి కోసం కూడా ట్రై చేసిన, బట్ నాకు సీట్ రాలేదు. లాస్ట్లో నేను ఎగ్జామ్ అటెండ్ అయిన ఎంట్రన్స్ కొద్దిగా 33-34 మార్క్స్తో బయటకు పడ్డా. బట్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో పిహెచ్డి చేయాలనుకున్నా. ఇంతకుముందు ఏమో ఈ ట్రైబ్స్, మైగ్రేటెడ్ ట్రైబ్స్ మీద చేయడం జరిగింది, గొత్తికోయ ట్రైబ్స్. నా ఏరియాలో కూడా వాళ్ళే బాగా బ్యాక్వర్డ్ ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళేమో డీప్ ఫారెస్ట్లో ఉన్నారు. కొన్ని ఫారెస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్, ఫారెస్ట్ శాఖ నుంచి కరెంటు పెట్టనియరు, రోడ్ ఇవ్వనియరు, సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి రకరకాల కాంప్లికేట్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో నేను నాకు అనిపించింది స్టడీస్ అనేది, జ్ఞానము అనేది చాలా నేర్పిస్తుంది, అనుభవాన్ని ఇస్తుంది, మనకు స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఇస్తుంది. అది మనము ఎక్కడో ఎవరి దగ్గరో అచేతనంగా నిలబడే కంటే నాలెడ్జ్డ్ పర్సన్ అనేది కొంత ఆ స్టాండర్డ్స్ వేరే ఉంటాయి. సో అది తప్పకుండా ఎన్ని కష్టాలున్నా ఈ లైఫ్ ఇట్లా అయిపోతుంటుంది. నేను అదే అనుకున్నా, ఇయర్స్ ఇట్లా అయిపోతుంటాయి. బట్ మనం లాస్ట్ వెనకకు చూసుకుంటే మన దగ్గర ఏముంటుంది? అందుకనే చావుకు పుట్టుకకు మధ్య కూడా మనం ఏం చేసినాం ఈ సమాజంలో, మనం చెప్పుకోవడానికి లేదా మన గురించి మాట్లాడుకోవడానికి సొసైటీ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం అనేది చాలా హ్యాబిట్స్ అటు ఇటు లాగుతాయి. కానీ సర్టన్ ఏజ్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఒక దశలో మన మీద మనమే కోపం వస్తుంది, అరే ఏంది నేను ఇట్లా అయిపోయినా అని. కాబట్టి ఎన్ని కష్టాలున్నా, ఎన్ని సమస్యలున్నా చదువుకోవడము, జ్ఞానాన్ని సంపాదించుకోవడము, ఈగో అట్లాంటి అవన్నీ తగ్గించుకొని ఇతరులను గౌరవించడం, రెస్పెక్ట్ ఇవ్వడము, అప్పుడు మనకు చాలా రెస్పెక్ట్ పెరుగుతుంది. చాలామందిని చూస్తాము, అనుభవజ్ఞులు, వాళ్ళు చదువు లేకున్నా ఎదుటి వాళ్ళను చాలా గ్రేట్గా హానర్ చేస్తారు. మన వాళ్ళు చదువు వస్తే డిగ్రీస్ ఉంటాయి. ఇప్పుడు హాస్పిటల్స్ పోతే హాస్పిటల్లో ఓనరు నమస్తే పెడతారు, పేషెంట్తో మంచిగా మాట్లాడతారు. కానీ అక్కడ ఉండే డాక్టరు అంత రిసీవ్ చేసుకోరు. మేము అందుకనే ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా అదే చెప్తాం, పేషెంట్తో బాగుండాలి అని. మీ చదువు గొప్పగానే ఉంది, గొప్ప మార్కులే, బట్ ఆ జ్ఞానం వాళ్ళను ఎట్లా గౌరవించుకోవాలి, నమ్మకాన్ని ఇవ్వాలి పేషెంట్తో అని. సో ఇవన్నీ లైఫ్లో ఇతరుల నుంచి అబ్జర్వ్ చేయడం ద్వారా వస్తాయి, అనుభవించడం ద్వారా వస్తుంది, మన ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ నేర్పిస్తుంది. సో అంతిమంగా నేనేం చెప్తా అంటే, ఎన్ని కష్టాలున్నా, ఎన్ని సమస్యలున్నా, ఇంట్లో ఉంటే ఇంట్లో దోపిడీ జరగవచ్చు, ఇల్లు కాలిపోవచ్చు, సర్వం కోల్పోవచ్చు. బట్ నీకు జ్ఞానం అనేది ఉంటే నువ్వు ఎక్కడైనా బతకగలుగుతావు, నలుగురిని బతికించగలుగుతావు. ఆ జ్ఞానం నీలో ఉంది. నువ్వు పోయిన తర్వాత కూడా నువ్వు ఒక లెగసీ లేదా కొంతమందికి, 1000 మందికి నువ్వు పంచిన జ్ఞానం ద్వారా నువ్వు అక్కడ సొసైటీలో కనిపిస్తావు. సో నేను అదే అంట, ఆస్తులు, అంతస్తులు, పదవులు, ఈరోజు ఈ పొజిషన్ ఉండొచ్చు, 25 ఏళ్ళ కింద 30 ఏళ్ళ కింద నేను జస్ట్ ఒక సాధారణమైనటువంటి మహిళను, ఒక నక్సలేట్గా ఉంటుంది. ఈరోజు మంత్రిగా ఆయన. ఇవన్నీ రేపు ఇది ఉండొచ్చు పోవచ్చు, దీంతో కాదు. మన వ్యక్తిత్వాన్ని నిర్మించుకోవాలి, మన స్టాండర్డ్స్ని మనం కాపాడుకోవాలి, వాల్యూస్ ఉంచుకోవాలి. ఎక్కడ ఏ సిచ్యువేషన్లో ఉన్నా మనల్ని గౌరవించే సొసైటీకి మనం దగ్గరగా ఉండాలి. ఆ ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ లైఫ్ మన ద్వారా సొసైటీకి అందించాలని కోరుకుంటాను.
ఒక స్పాంటేనియస్ క్వశ్చన్, మీ లైఫ్ అనేది చాలా ఇన్స్పిరేషన్. మీ లైఫ్ జర్నీని ఒక బుక్గా రాస్తే మీరేం పేరు పెట్టాలనుకుంటున్నారు?
నా బుక్ ఒకరిద్దరు రాసిరు. రణధీర అని నేను ఉద్యమంలో ఉన్నప్పుడు రణధీర్ పేరుతోటి స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఇచ్చేది. సో నాకు ఒక 2-3 పేర్లు, రణధీర్, వెన్నెల, ఇట్లా సీక్రెట్ నేమ్స్. సో అట్లా అంటే ఎక్కడున్నా అది విప్లవమే కావాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ప్రతి చోట ఒక మార్పు కోసం కోరుకోవాల్సిందే. కాబట్టి మార్పు అనేది ప్రతి మనిషిలో నిరంతరం సాగాలి అని కోరుకుంటా. నా బుక్ కూడా ఎప్పుడు మార్పు ఉండాలి అని కోరుకుంటా.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సీత గారు.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, ma'am, for that truly powerful and inspiring conversation. Your journey is a remarkable reflection of courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment to grassroots development and women's empowerment. Your vision for inclusive growth and stronger rural communities continues to create meaningful change across Telangana, and we are deeply honored to have you had with us today. On behalf of ABP Desam and our entire audience, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Srimati Dansari Anasuya Garu for sharing her valuable time and thoughts with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a big round of applause. I'd now like to invite Ms. Jaya, Head of Revenue ABP Life, to kindly step on stage and felicitate ma'am. Well, now to officially kickstart the event and share his valuable insights with us, we are honored to have Professor Balakista Reddy, Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education. Please welcome, sir.
Good morning, friends. Let me first congratulate the organizers and also thank you. Why I had to congratulate? Because the theme today, Smart Ed Conclave, from classroom to career. So it's a very topic of topical importance. That's why I want to, congratulate, and I want to thank you because invited me to share some of my thoughts with you all. Yes, definitely, as a chairman, Telangana Higher Education Council, my family is big because, I represent almost 2 million students, 19 to 20 lakh students, 2 lakh faculty members, around 40 universities. That's why my family is big, that, sometimes we encounter challenges also, of course. So coming back to the education, from classroom to career, I was just looking, entire day schedule, the kind of topics which you choose. I thought I'll, speak 5 to 7 minutes, which will set the day, So for that, yes, education transformation is happening. Not only that, today I can tell you we are in transformation. India is, in transition for transforming to a developed nation. You all know that, from developing to developed country, from, third world economy to third largest economy, from importer to economy. Why? Because we are aiming, aspiring for, 2047. Whether here in Telangana rising 2047, or our neighbor state, Andhra Pradesh, what we golden Andhra Pradesh, or particularly Prime Minister talks about, Vikasit Bharat 2047. So next maybe 20 plus years or 21 years exactly are going to be the challenging years for all of us as a country, as a university, as a, individual, all of us. That's why I think, I can say very important. Why this is important? Because when we are talking about the transformation, education is going to play important role. Being a youngest country, youth nation of the world, youngest country of the world, having a 65% of the population is 35 years age, or I'm happy to share with you that 50% of the population is 25 years age, where education matters. That is the greatest asset we have compared to many countries in the world. Aging population is having a problem. So you take countries like China, Japan, I can go on, but this is the greatest asset we have. Friends, you all know population is a liability, but our population is an asset, where if we give a good education, good direction, I think we are going to transform. I can confidently tell, if not economically, politically, we are going to rule the globe through human resource, being a youngest country. That's why education matters. We transforming this education to, of course, career is part of that, but education. So what kind of changes, challenges which education has, maybe in 2-3 minutes because of my time, but 4 or 5 points I want to highlight, giving the background so that entire day you can discuss. What is the impact of education ecosystem? What are the factors which are part of the education ecosystem? I can tell you one: globalization. Today we are living in a globalized world, interdependent world, maybe technology, everything is part of that. And India, being an emerging country, we have committed a lot of, commitments through international treaties. As a law professor, I can speak today. Globalization is inevitable. Globalization is part of our thing, and education ecosystem is influenced by globalization. Second, liberalization. Once you have a globalization, countries are, adopting liberal policies. India, if you look at last 3.5 decades, the kind of, liberalization, liberal policies which are, we adopting, and education is part of that. And third one is the privatization. I'm trying to see that, globalization, liberalization, privatization, digitization, and COVIDization. I'll come to that, what are that. So third, privatization is playing important role. Whether good or bad, I'm not going to come. I am trying to give you the, idea. These are all, influencing factors for the education ecosystem, more particularly, higher education. So third one is, yes, private participation is happening, lot of private universities, because, then fourth one is digitization. I want to talk 2-3 minutes digitization as technology. Yes, today, NEP 2020 talks about, our education system talks about multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach, intradisciplinary, I can go into. So today, this, digitalization or digitization is very important. Technology, broadly we can say technology. What is the technology? How technology is transforming, entire, ecosystem of education, I'll tell you. Yes, technology is, you all know that. I'm a law person, I don't know much about the technology, but you sleep with technology, you woke up with technology, you are, part of the technology you can. What is the technology? Why I'm talking about technology when we are talking about the, classroom to career? Yes, technology is the application of scientific knowledge for what? Practical purpose, industrial purpose, whatever. When technology started, technology was there, is going to be there. When I say was there, go to any ancient civilization, technology was used by humanity for comforts, betterment. But how the transformation is happening, I'll come to that in 2-3 minutes. Yes, if you look at, over the centuries, because of inventions, innovations, and discoveries, all these are all integral part of the, technology, okay? Over the centuries, because of, when I say ancient civilization, you go to any civilization, whether it's a wheel technology to, seismic technology, I can go on. But how the things are, changing, I want to tell you that how it is influencing education system, particularly over the centuries, whether it's because of, gunpowder to, electricity to, Renaissance to Reformation movement, and, printing press, sea route, sea trade, all these innovations helped, betterment of humanity, and last 400 to 500 years, because these are all linked with the education system. That's why I'm, trying to give you, holistic approach. Yeah, last 400 to 500 years of history, the humanity is witnessing, revolutions, I say, scientific revolution. We all saw, 17th century scientific revolution, 18th century political revolution, 19th century industrial revolution. Of course, when I say industrial, first, second, third, today fourth or 4.0, you are all part of that, So then fifth industrial revolution is what is happening in the last 1 week, you all know that. That is where, AI, artificial intelligence, boom, or, I can say fifth industrial revolution, okay, fourth, 4.0 all. So why I am telling you is that 20th century communication revolution, 21st century, what is that revolution? We are all part of that. Can anybody guess? Particularly, I want my young students. Knowledge revolution. Today, 21st century, we are all part of knowledge. Friends, knowledge which rule the globe. If I say knowledge which rule the globe, which is going to rule the globe, 19th century belongs to small country continent because of their knowledge. 20th century America, 21st century is our century, Asian century, our Indian century. That's why India is going to play a significant role. If we have a hegemony in technology, dominance in technology, grasping of technology, definitely India is going to play important role along with the youth power. So that is what, 21st century. In last 25 years, first quarter of the, 21st century, what kind of transformation which is happening, I'll tell you. We use buzzword. Today, education is an integral part of technology, okay? So if I say last 25 years or first quarter of the 21st century, I can tell you, friends, lot of things. We use buzzword called net technology. You all know that. What do you mean by net? Not internet, but net means new and emerging technologies are, I call them as A to Z technologies. What do you mean by that? That means you name any alphabet. A means automation to artificial intelligence to big data to Bitcoin technology to crypto to cryogenic, I can go drone, I can go on telling. All these technologies are influencing all of us. Education ecosystem is no exception to this. I said up to 25 years, okay? Last 1 week, you know what, AI Impact Summit. So if I say I'm coming from centuries to, decades to, years to now week, last 1 week, what happened, you all know that. How the artificial intelligence is going to impact the, education system, we are all, witnessing. Yes, so these are all changes which are happening. Yes, digitization or digital technology is integral part. Some of the themes I saw, so you are going to discuss in, debate, elaborately, but I leave it. This is the fourth point I said. What are, 4 point? Globalization, liberalization, privatization, digitization. Last one I used the word COVIDization. What is that? COVID pandemic. It is a term, I don't say invented, I don't know, I am not a scientist student, but science student. I am using this, you don't find in dictionary. It's my, contribution to the literature. COVIDization or COVID pandemic, COVID-19, how it is impacting education system for last 5 years. If I say globalization history for you, but if I say COVID pandemic or COVIDization is a fact, it's a reality. That's why how the COVID pandemic impacted education system, where, we are all into the, of course, sometimes we say negative way also. COVID batch means that other things also, but anyhow, COVID, thanks to COVID, this thing, at least education system in the, particularly digitization or technology we are using by compulsion. So these are all changes which are happening, and yes, as a chairman, Telangana Higher Education Council, what is our vision, mission? Higher education at the doorsteps of the needy with affordable cost without compromising quality. 5 principles: affordability, accessibility, quality, equity, inclusiveness. These 5 important principles or vision, whatever we call it, we are working and we are, trying to change. Yes, today, classrooms to careers, if I say, definitely, bright future is lies, but only thing is that if we work hard. So if I say career, because you are going to talk about a career as a theme, what kind of careers we have, what kind of opportunity do we have? Because one, question comes, we don't have jobs. Friends, that is, I dispute with you, I disagree with you because we have a jobs. But are we ready to take up that job? That is where, This kind of discussions will help you. If I say, I'll give you 1 minute, what kind of, because I am a law person, I'll speak with evidence. Whatever I spoke, whatever I am speaking, you cross-check Google and you can ask me. So if I say opportunities are careers, yes. From deep seabed to outer space, you name any area, I can give with statistics, okay? If I say deep seabed, globe is covered with 71% water, not mere water, it gives you abundant resources. Why I am referring is, there is one document called Maritime India Vision Document 2030, released by Prime Minister Modi in 23 December. Why I am referring is, that document says, up to 30, India is going to get 3 lakh crore investments in only one sector, maritime sector, through public-private partnership, and 20 lakhs jobs. You want to cross-check. In one sector, up to 30. It is document saying, it's a government document, okay? 20 lakhs jobs in one sector. I can go on land and aviation. Today, the kind of boom which is happening, new airports, and every airport gives careers. For example, employability, I'm talking about, skilled, unskilled, semi-skilled, super skilled, all these kind of things. But, space, yes, you are mentioning about the space technology. I'm a space law, I don't say expert, but, my specialization is space law. Little contribution I did for my country is I was instrumental in drafting space legislation for the country, which is pending in the parliament, okay? So that is what, we all individuals, I always say that individuals should take up, responsibility. Institutions, will further, do that. As an individual, I did. So what I am trying to say that today, careers, opportunities, there is no, only we had to have, and that too, global competition. Last point I want to, today our education system definitely, futuristic. Again, I was reminded by Alvin Toffler. Way back in 1970s, he wrote a book called Future Shock. To avoid future shock, our education system should be futuristic rather than the past present. And today, in the 21st century, it is very much relevant. That is what, our classroom should see what kind of futuristic education we have to have, our education thing, So these are all, things which are happening, friends. No worry. Opportunities are, jobs are there, good careers are there, but only thing is you are going to face the competition with globe. My young students, because future lies with you. When I say transformation, India, developed country, 2047, you are going to be the major, stakeholders. That's why I think future lies ahead, with bright, provided that we have to work hard and you have to compete with, not you are competing with friend sitting beside you. You are competing with globe. If you are ready for that, there is no dearth of opportunities. I can tell you, there is one agreement, treaty, because I am a law person, I can speak. There is agreement called WTO, GATS, GATS, not GATT. GATT is different. GATS, General Agreement on Trade Services. Why I am referring is careers. This agreement says 160 plus services part of this agreement. India signed, India ratified. So global competition. I can tell you today, sitting here we can do wonders. Career I am talking about. This agreement says all these 160 plus services are, operate through 4 modes. That's called cross-border, consumption abroad, commercial presence. I'm not going, but one mode I want to tell you is that, so if I am a consultant, I do that, of course. Sitting in, India, I can do, both service provider, receiver sits in their respective place, service operation. How boundaries are becoming meaningless, I want to give an example. So sitting here and, through email, fax, all these things you do, you give your consultants, you get your money through wire, and today, are the borders? Where are the borders? The only thing is that you have to show your talent. People should recognize that expertise is available. That's why I'm telling you, there is no dearth of career. Only thing is that you have to prove that, you are expert or you are, available this kind. So with this, I think, once again, I want to congratulate the organizers for, wonderful theme you choose, and I wish all the best for a day-long, deliberations. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone of the event. We shall continue the conversation with Professor Balakista Reddy in our very first fireside chat, that is Vision for Telangana Education Transformation. As Telangana rapidly emerges as a national leader in education and innovation, the need for a bold, future-focused vision has never been more important. This conversation sets the tone for the day by exploring how policy, institutions, and leadership can together transform the educational landscape of the state. So we already have Professor Balakista ready. Can we once again put our hands together for him? And I'd like to invite Mr. Nageshwara Rao to kindly join us on stage and lead this fireside chat. Over to you, Mr. Nageshwara Rao.
We are already running late, so I will wrap up in 15 minutes, sir. Welcome all for Smarted Education Conclave 2026. So, Telangana is a unique ecosystem here. We are having a legacy universities like Usmania, which is having 100 years, more than nearly 100 years of experience. And on the other hand, the technical ecosystem, which is led by JNTU, our own JNTU, which has decades of established decades ago here. And for humanities, Hyderabad Central University. And on technology side, we are having triple ITs, IITs and all. So we are having, it is rapidly growing into like Hyderabad or Telangana becoming an educational hub in India. So apart from that, the education system also transforming. Now the classrooms are becoming digital classrooms, AI is overtaking, smart technology is coming, and skill-based courses are inventing. At this juncture, so we need to talk about how these kind of changes are adopting by higher education department in Telangana. So here we have the right man, the chairman for Higher Education Council for Telangana, and he's not only chairman for Higher Education Council, sir already told he's an international legal expert and he made space law for India. So welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Nag.
Sir, so as a chairman, so what is your proud moment for Telangana education? And another, what is haunting about education?
Okay, very good question. Thank you, Nageshwara garu. Yes, proud moment. Of course, before I talk about education, Telangana proud moment, I want to tell you facts. Education system is in doldrums. Lot of challenges, friends. I as a professor, I have to speak facts. Today, education system, more particularly higher education system, is facing lot of challenges. Whether it's a recruitment, infrastructure, these are all having. Sometime I call them as a education system is circled with vicious circle. So, but where to cut? Where to begin with new things? Friends, I assumed charge 1.5 years back. You all know that we are trying to see that we have to change the education ecosystem. Particularly one thing we decided was updating the curriculum. Today, one of the major challenge flaw our system is that we sometimes, more particularly, of course, when I say there are regulatory bodies, whether it's the bar council, if it is the law, pharma council, pharmacy, like UGC, then you have medical, all this. But we as a universities, we as a education, that's one of my mandate of the Higher Education Council is to update the syllabus. So what we did is last 1.5 years, we are trying to see that our education system should keeping in view of the present and future needs sort of thing. So the beginning we made it was changing the syllabus, curriculum. Of course, UGC, other things also comes, I am not saying, but that is the one important movement or thing, because we have not merely this thing, but I have a lot of MOUs. The new thing which gives satisfaction for me is that we are Telangana Higher Education Council has almost 10 to 12 important memorandum of understanding, whether it's NASCOM to Bulk Drugs Manufacturer Association, all this. We want to see that our students get internships, our students get placement. That is the kind of initiation we have been initiated, but we have to go a long way.
So I was requested to do in Telugu because since Desam is a Telugu platform. So
okay.
సో
ఓకే, నో
సో
ప్రాబ్లం.
నెక్స్ట్ 5 yearsకి తెలంగాణ హైయర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఎలా ఉండాలి అనుకుంటున్నారు? మీ విజన్ ఏంటి?
నేను చెప్పాను కదా, మా విజన్ ఏంటంటే 5 ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్స్ను నేను దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని మా యొక్క ఎడ్యుకేషన్ రిఫార్మ్ స్టార్ట్ చేశాము. ఒకటి చెప్పాను కదా, హైయర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ అందరికీ యాక్సెసిబుల్ ఉండాలి, అఫోర్డబుల్ ఉండాలి, క్వాలిటీ ఉండాలి, ఇంక్లూజివ్నెస్ ఉండాలి అనేటువంటి ప్రిన్సిపల్తో వీటినంతా ఎట్లా అని అంటే ఏంటంటే త్రూ యూజ్ ఆఫ్ టెక్నాలజీ. టుడే ఇప్పుడు హ్యావ్ నాట్స్ దేర్ ఇస్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఉందండి. అయితే ఓన్లీ వే వీ కెన్ కన్వర్ట్ దట్ ఈజ్ త్రూ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మింగ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ త్రూ టెక్నాలజీ. కాబట్టి మేమేంటంటే టెక్నాలజీకి చాలా ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఇచ్చి, సో టెక్నాలజీ అనుసంధానమైనటువంటి కోర్సులు ఏ కోర్సు ఉన్నా టుడే ఐ కెన్ టెల్ యూ ఫ్రెండ్స్, యూజీసీ మ్యాండేట్స్ దట్ 20% ఆఫ్ అవర్ సిలబస్ ఏంటంటే టెక్నాలజీతో అనుసంధానమై ఉండాలా. మేమేం చేసామంటే గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ టెక్నాలజీ ఇంజనీరింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ యు ఆర్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ టెక్నాలజీ, బట్ వాట్ అబౌట్ బిఏ బీకామ్ బీఎస్సీ స్టూడెంట్? సో మేమేం చేసామంటే ప్రతి 20% కొన్ని టెక్నాలజీ పేపర్స్ను మ్యాండేటరీగా చేసాము. అది అఫ్కోర్స్ యూజీసీ మ్యాండేట్ అనుకోండి. ఉదాహరణకు ఏఐ టూల్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీస్, సైబర్ రిలేటెడ్ ఇట్లా కొన్ని పేపర్స్ను ఆల్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్కు మ్యాండేటరీ చేసి దాని ద్వారా.
బట్ మనకంటే చాలా స్పీడ్లో టెక్నాలజీ కానీ చేంజెస్ కానీ మారిపోతున్నాయి. మనం కరికులం మార్చడం అంత తొందరగా కుదరదు. హియర్ మనకి నెక్స్ట్ వేవ్ ఉన్నారు, రాజీవ్ కూడా ఇక్కడే ఉన్నారు, వాళ్ళు కూడా కొన్ని కోర్సులు నేర్పిస్తున్నారు.
ఓకే
సార్, ఇప్పుడు మన స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎవరైనా సరే గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ పూర్తయి బయటకు వచ్చిన తర్వాత బీటెక్లో ఒక కోర్స్ చదివిన తర్వాత, ఈవెన్ దేర్ ఆర్ ఏఐ కోర్సులు కూడా ఉన్నాయి. ఏఐ గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ పూర్తి చేసిన తర్వాత కూడా వాళ్ళకి జాబ్ గ్యారంటీ లేని పరిస్థితి వచ్చింది. సో మన సిలబస్ టెక్నాలజీ చేంజ్ అవుతున్నటువంటి ర్యాపిడ్గా సిలబస్ అనేది చేంజ్ అవ్వదు. దెర్ ఆర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ హర్డిల్స్. హౌ టు ఓవర్కమ్ ఇట్?
తప్పకుండా అండి. అందుకే ఇప్పుడు కొంత నేను అన్నాను కదా, ఇప్పుడు టెక్నాలజీ కూడా ఫాస్ట్గా చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఈరోజు ప్రాబ్లం విత్ టెక్నాలజీ, బ్యూటీ విత్ టెక్నాలజీ ఈజ్ దట్ టెక్నాలజీ ఈజ్ మూవింగ్ ఇన్ అ ఫాస్టర్ మేనర్. ఒక ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమే కాదు, ఓవరాల్గా. సో రెవల్యూషనరీ టెక్నాలజీస్ అంటాం. ఈరోజు ఒకటి ఉంది, రేపు ఒకటి ఉంది. హౌ వీ హ్యావ్ టు అడాప్ట్ టు వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ చేంజెస్ వీ కెన్ మేక్. దీస్ చేంజెస్ ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ విచ్ గివ్ ఎంప్లాయబిలిటీ. అదంతా ఛాలెంజింగ్ అండి. ఇప్పుడు లాస్ట్ 5 days మీరు చూసారు కదా. సో నెక్స్ట్ 5 years 4 years ఇప్పుడు చాలామంది ఇంజనీరింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఇక్కడ ఉన్నారు. మనకు ఇప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి సిలబస్ మీరు పాస్ అయ్యే వరకు చాలా మార్పులు రాబోతున్నాయి. ఇంతకుముందు నాగేశ్వరరావు గారు చెప్పినట్లు ఏంటంటే మాకు కొన్ని డిఫికల్టీస్ ఉంటాయి, ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఇవ్వాలా. ఎందుకంటే వీ హ్యావ్ టు గో టు రెగ్యులేటరీ బాడీస్, యూనివర్సిటీస్ కొన్ని ఉన్నాయి. బట్ వన్ థింగ్ ఐ కెన్ టెల్ యూ, ఇంతకుముందే నేను చెప్పాను కదా, ఫ్యూచరిస్టిక్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో కంపల్సరీ అప్డేషన్ అనేది ఉండాలి. మనకు కూడా లిబరల్ అది పాలసీస్ తీసుకొచ్చి వీ హ్యావ్ టు అప్డేట్ సిలబస్ కీపింగ్ ఇన్ వ్యూ ఆఫ్ ది గ్లోబల్ అండ్ ఇండస్ట్రీ నీడ్స్ అని నేను చెప్తున్నా. బట్ వీ విల్ ఓవర్కమ్ దట్ అండ్ వీఆర్ మా మ్యాండేట్ కూడా ఇవ్వాలి. మాకు మీరు చెప్తున్నారు కదా, సీఎం గారు ఏమంటాడంటే ప్రతి స్టూడెంట్కు ఎడ్యుకేషన్తో పాటు స్కిల్ కావాలి. సో ఆ స్కిల్ను నేర్పించేదానికి
స్కిల్ యూనివర్సిటీ కూడా
పెట్టడము, ప్రతి ఒక్క స్టూడెంట్ స్కిల్ కావాలనేది. సో కొంత ప్రయత్నం జరుగుతుంది. ఎస్, ఇట్ ఈస్ అ ఫ్యాక్ట్ దట్ కొంత టైం పడుతుంది. బట్ మా మ్యాండేట్స్ ఏంటంటే మీరు ఎంత తొందరగా చేస్తే అంత బాగుంటుంది. స్టూడెంట్స్ సెంట్రిక్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్.
బట్ వాట్ డూ యూ థింక్, డిజిటల్ అడాప్షన్ అనేది ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ సప్లిమెంట్ ఆర్ ఇట్ బికమ్ ఏ కోర్? ఏమైంది అనుకుంటా?
ఇప్పుడు డిపెండ్ ఆన్ ద సబ్జెక్ట్స్. టెక్నాలజీ ఇంజనీరింగ్ మే బి సబ్జెక్ట్, బట్ ఫర్ అదర్ బ్రాంచెస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద సెకండరీ. కాబట్టి నేను అన్నాను కదా ఇంతకుముందు 20% 30% టెక్నాలజీ మ్యాండేట్ అయింది. బట్ వేర్ వీ కెన్ వీ కెన్ మేక్ పార్ట్ అనేది అది వీ విల్ డిసైడ్ అండ్ వీ విల్. బట్ తప్పకుండా. బట్ ఛాలెంజ్ అయితే ఉందండి. ఛాలెంజ్ ఈరోజు ఎట్లుందంటే అయితే ఒక్కటే, టుడే ఎనీబడి, యూ మీ ఆర్ ఎనీబడి, the mantra for all of us, earlier we used to say perform or perish, but today I can tell you update or outdate. If you are outdated, you are no more. If you updated, we have to update the technology along with the changes. That is what my message.
20 years back 30 years back డిగ్రీ హోల్డర్ అంటే జాబ్ హోల్డర్ అనేది ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు ఆ రెండింటికి మధ్య చాలా డిస్పారిటీ కనిపిస్తుంది. వెదర్ వీ కాల్ దెమ్ యాజ్ డిగ్రీ హోల్డర్ ఆర్ జాబ్ హోల్డర్, దెర్ ఇస్ అ క్లియర్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంది కదా. సో ఆ సిచ్యువేషన్, ఆ గ్యాప్ అనేది వైడ్ అవుతూ వస్తుంది అంటే సో సంథింగ్ వేర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్ ఎక్కడో ఫెయిల్ అయినట్టు అనుకోవాలి కదా.
తప్పకుండా అండి. అందుకొరకే ఇప్పుడు ఈరోజు డిగ్రీ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటింగ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ టు ఇంపార్టింగ్ నాలెడ్జ్ అనేది మేము చెప్పేది. అది గ్యాప్ చాలా ఉంది, చాలా ఈరోజు సిస్టమ్ అది ఉంది. బట్ దేర్ ఈజ్ నో డౌట్ అండి. ఇప్పుడు ఉట్టి డిగ్రీలతో పోతే మనకి ఎక్కడ ఏం లేదు. కాబట్టి ఏంటంటే ఏ మేరకు మనం చేయగలిగితే ఏంటంటే ఆ మేరకు, బట్ త్రూ ఓవర్కమింగ్ ద లిమిటేషన్. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ గివింగ్ యూ గ్లోరీ ఆర్ rosy picture, but there are challenges. But if we want to exist in the society, if we want to, today we are in a competitive world. Whether universities, ఇవాళ వందల యూనివర్సిటీస్, చాలా యూనివర్సిటీస్ ఉన్నాయి. హౌ యూ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ అనేటువంటి మార్క్తో ఉంటేనే మనం సస్టైన్ అవుతాం, మనం ఎగ్జిస్ట్. కాబట్టి ఆ ప్రయత్నంలో ఉంది. అంటే ప్రతి యూనివర్సిటీ వీ హ్యావ్ టు కంపీట్ విత్ అదర్ యూనివర్సిటీస్తో. సో ఆ ప్రాసెస్లో ఏంటంటే బెస్ట్ ఆపర్చునిటీ జాబ్స్ ఇవ్వడం కొరకు కొంత ప్రయత్నాలు చేస్తున్నాయి. ఇప్పుడు మంచి ప్రైవేట్ యూనివర్సిటీస్ వస్తున్నాయి.
నాట్ ఓన్లీ విత్ ఇన్ ద ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్, టెక్నాలజీ ఎకోసిస్టమ్. మనకి హైదరాబాద్ చూస్తే మనకి ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఇండియాలో 1 or 2nd ప్లేస్ ఉంటుంది. స్టార్టప్ ఎకోసిస్టమ్ కానీ ఉండే టెక్నాలజీ కానీ. బట్ దీన్ని ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేయడంలో ఎక్కడ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ అనేవి ఫెయిల్ అయిపోతున్నా. మనం ఎంఐటి కానీ లేకపోతే స్టాన్ఫర్డ్ కానీ హార్వర్డ్ కానీ చూస్తే ఖచ్చితంగా కూడా ఇండస్ట్రీకి రిలేట్ అయ్యే ఉంటుంది ప్రతిదీ కూడా. చాలామంది అక్కడ ఇంటర్న్షిప్స్ అంతా కూడా వెళ్ళి ఇండస్ట్రీలోనే చేస్తారు. బట్ మీరు చెప్పారు మనం 20 లక్షల మంది స్టూడెంట్స్ ఉన్నారన్నారు. ఎంత పర్సెంట్ మంది ఇంత టెక్ ఎకో సిస్టమ్ని యూజ్ చేసుకునే అవకాశం ఉంది? అంటే మనకి రెడీలీ అవైలబుల్ ఉన్నా కూడా ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేసుకోలేకపోతున్నాం?
ఇప్పుడు మీ దానికి ఆన్సర్ ఏంటంటే, ఇప్పుడు ఓన్లీ 22% ఆఫ్ అవర్ గ్రాడ్యుయేటింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆర్ కేపబుల్ ఆఫ్ జాబ్స్. రిమైనింగ్ నేను చెప్తున్నాను కదా, ఆల్మోస్ట్ 80%. ఈరోజు ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే అకాడమీ ఇండస్ట్రీ కనెక్ట్ లేకపోవడము, ఇండస్ట్రీ నీడ్స్ను మనం గుర్తించకపోవడము. సో ఇలాంటి కొన్ని గ్యాప్స్ ఉన్నాయి. దాన్ని ఓవర్కమ్ చేయడానికి నేను ఇంతకుముందు చెప్పాను కదా, వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ ఎ లాట్ ఆఫ్ MOUs. లాస్ట్ 4 days ఐఎమ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్, మీకు తెలుసు, వరల్డ్ స్కిల్స్ కాంపిటీషన్ అవుతుంది. ఎక్కడ కన్నా శాంతివనం శంషాబాద్లో. అక్కడ ఇవాళ ఏంటంటే డిస్ట్రిక్ట్, స్టేటు, జోనల్, ఇండియా అండ్ వరల్డ్ కాంపిటీషన్స్ ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు. అంటే ఈరోజు ఏంటంటే వీలైనంత వరకు మేము కూడా పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసి హౌ వీ కెన్ బ్రింగ్ స్కిల్స్ ఇన్ టు ద ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్ అనేటువంటి ప్రయత్నంలో ఉన్నామండి.
మోర్ యూనివర్సిటీస్ అనేది క్వాలిటీని డైల్యూట్ చేస్తుందా? ప్రతి ఇంతకుముందు అంటే ఉస్మానియానో కాకతీయనో ఉండేది, ఇప్పుడు ప్రతి జిల్లాకు ఒక యూనివర్సిటీ ఉంది. యూనివర్సిటీలు బిల్డింగ్స్ ఉంటున్నాయి కానీ more than 50% jobs are vacant, పర్మనెంట్ జాబ్స్ లేవు, ఈవెన్ డిగ్రీ కాలేజెస్లో కూడా. సో ఫిజికల్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది తప్పితే స్కిల్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్మెంట్ అనేది ఎక్కడ కనిపించట్లేదు. దానివల్ల యూజ్ ఏముంటుంది?
తప్పకుండా, యువర్ రైట్ క్వశ్చన్, ఇట్స్ ఫ్యాక్ట్. నేను నా ప్రారంభ ఉపన్యాసంలో కూడా అది చెప్పాను. ఛాలెంజెస్ ఏంటంటే రిక్రూట్మెంట్ ఈజ్ ఎ ఛాలెంజ్. లాస్ట్ 10 to 12 years నుంచి రిక్రూట్మెంట్ లేదండి యూనివర్సిటీలలో. ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి. అయితే మాకు వచ్చిన మ్యాండేట్ ఏంటంటే తొందరగా రిక్రూట్ చేయాలి. ఇప్పుడు డైల్యూషన్ తప్పకుండా ఉంది. ఈరోజు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ ఒక యూనివర్సిటీ అంటే ఇంతకుముందు ఒక స్టేచర్ ఉండే అది ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే అఫ్ కోర్స్ దిస్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద లిబరలైజేషన్, పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రైవేట్, ఇదంతా వస్తున్నాయి. కాకపోతే ఏది ఉన్నా కానీ క్వాలిటీ మెయింటైన్స్ చేయకపోతే అగైన్ ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్ ఈజ్ గోయింగ్ టు బి ఇన్ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్. అది నేను సో తప్పకుండా మరి
సేమ్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్, ఐఐటీలు కానీ లేకపోతే ఐఏఎస్సి కానీ లేకపోతే గవర్నమెంట్ సపోర్ట్ ఐఏఎస్సి కానీ వాటికి ఉన్న ప్రీమియర్ అక్రిడేషన్ వీటికి ఎందుకు లేదు? యూనివర్సిటీస్కి ఎందుకు లేదు?
ఒకటి ఐఐటీస్, ఐఐఎమ్స్ ఎంత పర్సెంటేజ్ అండి? ఈవెన్ స్మాల్ దే ఆర్ ఫండింగ్ చాలా ఉంది, అకాడమిక్ ఫ్రీడమ్ ఉంది. నేను ఈరోజు మీరు అన్న కాబట్టి ఐఎమ్ ఫ్రమ్ నల్సార్ యూనివర్సిటీ అండి. టుడే ఐ కెన్ టెల్ యూ there are 1700 law universities, law college. Nalsar comes under maybe first, second, third or top 3 ఉంటుంది. బట్ నల్సార్ ఆల్సో ఫాలోస్ బార్ కౌన్సిల్ మ్యాండేట్. ఇవాళ ఉస్మానియా ఏం మ్యాండేట్ ఉందో బార్ కౌన్సిల్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు అడ్వకేట్ కావాలంటే, ఒక లా కావాలంటే ఏంటంటే బార్ కౌన్సిల్ మ్యాండేట్ ఉంటుంది. నల్సార్ ఫాలోస్ సేమ్ మ్యాండేట్, ఉస్మానియా ఫాలోస్. వై ఉస్మానియా ఈజ్ నాట్ డూయింగ్, వై నల్సార్ ఈజ్ డూయింగ్? అకాడమిక్ ఫ్రీడమ్. ఈరోజు కొంత మన ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టంలో ఒక ఛాలెంజ్ ఏంటంటే వీ కమ్స్ అండర్ జస్టిస్. అవర్ ఛాన్సలర్ ఈజ్ ద CJ of Telangana. So little political interference. I am openly telling because we have Usmania is no less talent than Nalsar or JNTU or, but ఎందుకు ఒక్కొక్కసారి చేయలేకపోతున్నాం అంటే ఈ యొక్క పొలిటికల్ ఇంటర్ఫియరెన్సెస్, ఫండింగ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్, ఇట్లాంటివి.
వన్ ఫైనల్ క్వశ్చన్.
ఓకే,
ఆర్ యూ మిస్సింగ్ యువర్ క్లాస్ రూమ్స్?
100% అండి. That's why wherever I get opportunity, I have taken 5 minutes class. So as a teacher we get proud, we get recognition, name, fame, everything through academics. కాబట్టి I don't, but I can tell you, మీరు అన్నదానికి యావరేజ్ రోజు ఒక 1000 మంది స్టూడెంట్స్తో నేను ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవుతా. కాబట్టి మేబీ నాట్ విత్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్ రూమ్, బిగ్గర్ క్లాస్ రూమ్స్ ఐఎమ్ అడ్రస్సింగ్, ఐఎమ్ ఎంజాయింగ్, ఐఎమ్ ట్రయింగ్ టు inspire my students, youth, because they are the future of India, not only India, but they are again, they are future of the world because ప్రపంచం మన వైపు చూస్తుందని ఇంతకుముందు నేను చెప్పాను, అది వాస్తవం. ఒక్కటే నా మెసేజ్ ఏంటంటే, దేర్ ఆర్ ఛాలెంజెస్ బట్ ఓన్లీ నో షార్ట్ కట్స్, హార్డ్ వర్క్ చేయండి. సో ఒక మెసేజ్ నేను జనరల్గా పోతే చెప్తుంటాను. ఐ రిమైండెడ్ వన్ కొటేషన్ బై రతన్ టాటా సేస్, సింగిల్ మినిట్ వోంట్ చేంజ్ ఇన్ యువర్ లైఫ్ బట్ యూటిలైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీ మినిట్ డెఫినెట్లీ చేంజ్ లైఫ్. టైమ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్, డిసిప్లిన్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఐ థింక్ కీప్ దిస్ ఇన్ మైండ్ అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్.
Thank you, sir. Your vision for strengthening higher education and shaping a future-ready Telangana has given us not just direction, but tremendous inspiration. And to express our gratitude and acknowledge your remarkable contribution, we'd like to felicitate you. I'd like to invite Mr. Sunil Goswami, Head, News Video ABP Live, to kindly come on stage and do the honors. Can we please put our hands together? Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, students, now I have a very important question for all of you. How many of you believe that a degree alone is enough to get your dream job? Anybody who thinks that the degree is enough? Yes? Okay, what do companies look for? Only degrees or any industry-ready skills? Skills, okay. Can you name a few industry-ready skills? Come on, anybody? AI. And what else do you think are industry-ready skills? You think communication is one of them? Confidence? Critical thinking? Anybody, come on. Can we get a few answers from the students there at the back? Here. Yes? Cyber security, okay. What other industry-ready skills do you think are required for you to land your dream jobs? Teamwork? Yes? Collaboration? Come on, students, you need to really be a little more active. All right, from classrooms to careers, the education system is being reimagined to focus on outcomes, employability, and real-world success. To share his insights on how new age learning is making students truly industry-ready, please welcome Mr. Rahul Ataluri, CEO and co-founder Next Wave. Can we all put our hands together for Mr. Rahul? And I'd also like to invite Ms. Vidhi Maheshwari to kindly join us on stage and share this session. Let's put our hands together, everybody. Over to you, Vidhi.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave. Thank you for joining us. The first conversation, the first session has been extremely insightful, and I think this session is going to be extremely insightful as well. Rahul, you're the CEO and co-founder of Next Wave, which is building a large-scale online learning ecosystem, which is transforming students, especially from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, into highly skilled software professionals. Now, that is the need of the hour, and like your company says, it is the next wave of education. Welcome to the conclave. How are you feeling right now?
Firstly, thanks for having me here. And I was listening to Chairman's message, and he rightly pointed out on different areas that needs to be solved for. So I'm quite excited to be living in the time of AI and trying to solve for education is something which is I am quite excited about, and likewise about the conversation that we are going to have as well.
So Next Wave started in 2020, and you decided that now students, especially from tier 2, tier 3 cities, need to be upgraded, need to have skills that help them become software professionals. How did you identify this gap, and what made you realize that this is actually turning into something that's actually transforming students' lives?
Sure. So again, just to give a little bit about my background, so I went to IIIT Hyderabad, did my computer science. So back in the day, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so did try multiple ideas back in college days. Nothing really worked out. So took up a traditional path, like went and worked with companies like Bivin, Amazon as a software developer. But like, you know, once you have the bug of entrepreneurship within you, so it's no way gonna leave you. So again, quit my job, started something in the cyber security space. Like, you know, during my own stint at the cyber security company, so we had to hire, like, you know, huge bunch of folks as software engineers for ourselves, and went ahead, like, obviously we couldn't afford to have like a Google level software engineer or like a like, you know, Amazon level software engineer. So we had to go to tier 2 and 3 colleges to see if like, you know, if we can recruit good talent coming in from there, only to realize that the quality of skills that the students possessed, especially in tier 2 and 3 colleges, is, like, you know, far below to what a typical IITian or a IIITian would have. So we started with providing support to these students as an informal support that we started, and in a span of good 6-8 months, we were able to nurture close to 150 people to be job ready, and they went ahead and, like, you know, joined some MNCs. So that was a like, you know, spark moment for us. So if 6-8 months of training could transform somebody from unemployed status to becoming employed at a cutting edge MNC, so like, you know, why not bring about this kind of an ecosystem to like, you know, all of the tier 2 and 3 colleges. So that was the trigger point for us.
Absolutely. And what is the biggest mindset shift that you would have seen? Because I think this is what people need right now to upgrade themselves, to understand softwares, evolve with the industry. So what is the mindset shift?
So unfortunately in India, most of them are made to believe that, like, you know, only if they make it to IIT or, like, you know, colleges like it, like, you know, only then they will have a bright future, which is not the case. So given that, like, you know, the coaching ecosystem has been so ingrained into the ecosystem right from our childhood, so somewhere parents and students tend to believe that, like, you know, either it's a binary, like, you know, if they make it, like, you know, they need not do anything, and if they don't make it, then they are nothing. So unless or otherwise we bring about a change in mindset, not just among the students, ultimately students are like, you know, part of the ecosystem. So the message has to be loud and clear in the ecosystem that, like, you know, IIT is good, I mean, no questions about it, but it doesn't mean that if people don't qualify for IIT, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, they are
all doors are closed.
So I think that mindset shift, wherever, if you can bring if you can like, you know, make sure that students believe in their raw talent and, like, you know, the innate ability that they have. So I think once students start believing their ability and potential, so they have all world around right in their pocket, right? So then they start to dream big, then they start to work towards their dream, work hard, and then they'll achieve whatever they want to achieve. So everyone should believe in themselves, that they're quite capable of achieving something big. It's not meant for some IITian or some like, you know, NITian, but it's for everyone, right? So if today there is no literal barrier for anyone, right? If I want to, or if anyone wants to build something world class wherever they are from, so all they need to do is, like, you know, just open their mobile. If they want to build an application, they can build it. If they want to do research about anything, they can do it. If they want to get access to somebody else, they can just like, you know, do a cold reach out to 100 of them, probably one will respond. So I think everything is accessible. It's just about students believing that they have that ability and potential to become something quite big.
Now, with the way technology is evolving, like you said, you can build apps, you can build websites. So now when AI is coding for you, do students really need to spend years in programming, learning how to program? Like, how do you explain to students that they maybe need that information before they actually go and use the AI? How does this work?
Sure, I have two perspectives. Say, today, none of us really need to walk literally thousands of kilometers in a day, right? But we need not literally lift weights in our day-to-day lifestyle, right? But still, we choose to go to gym, not because our nature demands it, but it's because for one to stay physically fit, that's something very important, right? So likewise in the age of AI, right? So programming, writing code, whether you will write it code by hand or not is secondary. But what's most important is what kind of meta skills is programming teaching you? Even for someone to be fundamentally able to use AI, so they need certain cognitive ability to be able to use AI. So even I have AI today, and you have AI, and everybody in this room has access to this cutting edge technology called AI. But the way I use would be very different from how you use and somebody else in this room uses. So programming, the process of learning programming teaches you problem solving. The process of learning programming teaches you how when you are presented with an abstract problem statement, how do you articulate the solution, how do you break down it, how do you decompose it. So there are multiple meta skills which are taught, learned in the process of learning programming. So while I'm sure every student in this room will never have to literally write any line of code once they get into a profession, but the process of learning programming helps them be a better user of AI.
So you can't skip that step, obviously.
Exactly.
So now, with your years of experience, I want to understand, if you had to redesign a traditional engineering program in colleges, what would you change first?
See, I think more than about the subjects, it's the pedagogy that needs a significant shift, right? So even today, if you look at most of the colleges in higher education, it's still rote learning that is happening. People are imparted with knowledge or information, and they consume it, and then they by heart things, and similar questions or same questions would be asked during the examinations, and people would reproduce it, right? So that skill, having knowledge and information alone, doesn't make anything, especially in the current age of AI, where it's not just about knowledge and information which is accessible. Now you also have access to intelligence as well, right? So fundamentally, how do we, the curriculum has to shift from imparting knowledge and information to how do we make or nurture students to become builders, or how do we nurture them to become problem solvers? How do we make our students identify problems? It's not about somebody else presenting them with a problem statement and then they go about solving it, but how do we, India as a country, we are filled with a lot of challenges, right? So it's not that India doesn't have any challenges, right? So, and in our own life experience, each one of us see tons and tons of problems, right? So how do we start looking at these challenges or problem statements as opportunities for each one of us to build something for it, right? So how do we inculcate such mindset? How do we nurture students to identify problem statements? How do we nurture them to use technology as a tool to build solutions and blueprints? And how do they go about building a business model, right? So one other interesting thing that will emerge going forward in the future is that the concept of traditional jobs will go away. It's going to be more of a gig economy, like the way today you have a million or more content creators who are making much more than what a TCS employee would make, right? And then you have a million or more of Uber drivers, Swiggy delivery boys who are part of the gig economy. And very soon we'll see a big revolution of knowledge work becoming gig economy. So every day individuals will wake up to see a dashboard of tasks, and they pick up one, they solve it, and they get paid for it. So it's not, I think Gen Alpha loves it. But that's the kind of shift that we are going to see.
So in 5 years from now, would it be safe to say that companies will hire not from campuses but from skill platforms?
See, I think the concept of hiring in itself is going to change. When I meant it's going to be about gig economy, right? So even today, a platform like Urban Company, right? Who would have thought that hitting a nail would be standardized, right? So there is a price cut to it. So very soon in future, there will be for each of our knowledge work also. So we get paid on outcome that we deliver, not on basis of somebody is not going to hire and keep continue to pay us like a monthly salary, but we get paid for like the quantum of work that has been delivered, and you get paid based on work. Like you pick up a work and get it done in like 3-4 years, so you get paid like 5,000 or 10,000, and then it's up to you to choose if you want to pick up another job or not.
Yes.
Right? So it will be skill based. Like so obviously there will not be any question of like degrees anymore. So you are assessed or you are hired for a job on basis of when I meant job, it's a gig job. So you are hired on basis of the skill that you demonstrate.
And learning is becoming exciting now. There's so many doors, so many things that one can explore. So I think learning never needs to stop. People need to move on from textbooks as well and explore the world of AI and software and technologies that is advancing. For all the students who are here, what should a student start doing today to be relevant in 2030?
So I think, when I was in school, my parents told me like, if I do well in 10th, you are done for the rest of life. When I was in 11th, my parents told me that like, if I'm done well with my JEE exam, then I'm done for the rest of my life. And when I was in engineering, I was told that if I were to do well for the 4 years, then I'm done for the rest of the life. And now I keep hearing it like, once we, every couple of years I hear the same thing, right? So it's always about learning to learn. Continuous learning is something which is more important than ever before. So probably my parents' generation, so my father joined a job and like he retired in the same job after spending like good 30-35 years of experience. But in the current generation, people will materially change to a completely different role which has nothing to do with what they have been educated or on the prior job, right? So there is a World Economic research which says that like the current generation will switch to 7 different careers in their entire span. So when they meant 7 different careers, it's not about like me progressing as a manager or as a leader. It's going to be, let's say today I am into
completely different jobs, yes.
orthogonal. So I mean, it's hard to predict like what the jobs of future will be or if there will be ever be any jobs. But most important is like the ability to learn is something that's going to be more important. So I think students should be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right, so learning any new skill, like the first time you learn to ride a bicycle, right? So you feel intimidated by it and you get hurt multiple times, right? So that's how it's going to be, right? So be uncomfortable, like everybody today feels the same level of uncomfortableness because of AI, right? So if you can embrace that, like it's going to be the same for everyone, and start trying to push yourself to learn the technology and start pushing yourself to apply the technology. I think that's where the real value comes from. So focus on learning and applying as much as possible. And when I meant applying, building stuff and be an entrepreneur, right? So today I'm sure Gen Alpha is more on platforms like Instagram, so where they already have massive amounts of distribution already. So the distribution is solved for. So all they need to do is pick a problem, build a solution, and then publish it through your social channels, and then see how it unfolds and learn from it and keep repeating the same.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and your insights, Rahul. It was a pleasure talking to you and having you at ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave.
Thank you so much. It was I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and hope I look forward to see many more students picking up the path of entrepreneurship and leveraging AI.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rahul. Your perspective on outcome-driven learning and building truly industry-ready careers has given our students a clear roadmap for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Rahul one more time. And as a token of our appreciation, we'd like to felicitate you. To do the honors, I'd like to invite Mr. Pradeep Kumar, Input Editor, ABP Desam, to kindly step on stage. Thank you. All right, so now while we make arrangements for our next session, I want all the students with your own respective group, wherever you're seated in the same table, I want you to quickly discuss, quickly tell each other what your dream career is. Come on, all the students, I want you to interact among yourselves. You can, of course, interact with all the 4-5 students or colleagues of yours sitting at the same table. Talk about your dream career. Discuss what your dream career is, because I'm going to ask questions now, so make sure you do that. Make sure you know the dream career of the person who's sitting right beside you, right next to you, on the same table. Yes. Did you guys do that? Okay, can I see what is the most common career? Which is the most common career that most of you have chosen or most of you want to take up? Yes. The most common career? Startup. Okay, most of you want to have a startup of their own. All right. Anybody else? Okay, now we've, you just told me what is the most common career. Can you tell me which is the most unusual career that you've heard? Anybody that has heard something unusual? Something that doesn't exist right now but might exist in the next 5 years. Can you actually think of something, a career? And this is not just for the students, it's a common question for all of you. Can you think of a career that does not really exist now, but it can come up in the next 4-5 years? Anybody? AI? Sir, can you come again, please?
AI assisted customer care.
Okay, so customer cares for AI assistance. Well, that can surely come up in the next, not even 4-5, I think in the next 2-3 years. How many of you agree to that? And is there any other career that you think is going to come up in the next 2, 3 or 4, 5 years? Do you guys think most of it is actually related to AI? Yes? How many of you think that AI is actually going to give us a lot more opportunities in the future? A lot more career opportunities or career diversifications in the future? Alright, amazing. So from reimagining education in the age of AI, we now move to a conversation that focuses on a key outcome of that transformation, which is employability. In today's rapidly evolving digital economy, the true success of education lies in creating graduates who are not just qualified but job ready from day one. Our next session explores how institutions can bridge the gap between academics and industry by embedding the right skills, the right mindset, and the right opportunities into the learning journey. To share his valuable insights on this, we have with us Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Director ICFI. Come on everybody, can we all put our hands together and welcome Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Director ICFI, and this session will be moderated by Ms. Vidhi Maheshwari. Welcome back, Vidhi. Yeah, over to you, Vidhi.
So far, conversations have been interesting. Our last panel discussion was very insightful, very interesting, talking about curriculums changing, adjusting to AI. Now, obviously, the most crucial question is employability. Are our graduates ready for the jobs which are evolving today? Before we start the conversation, Sudhakar sir, thank you so much for becoming a part of SmartEd Conclave hosted by ABP Desam. This is the second edition that you're a part of as well. We love the conversation insights that you bring in. How are you feeling right now?
Thank you, Vidhi. This is my pleasure and honor to be here. I want to first thank at the outset the ABP team for putting this together for the benefit of so many youngsters. The second, it's a great opportunity to be here on the stage to speak to the youngsters who are looking forward to some answers. Third, I hope at the end of this conclave and discussions, we take home some of those very credible and important takeaways which are going to be useful when we go back and apply in our own domains and our own contexts. So I'm very happy to be here. Thanks.
So with the conversations that we've had throughout the day, we've understood that AI is taking over, not taking over, but AI is helping us learn better, learn faster, complete tasks faster. Schools are changing, curriculums changing, but I want to understand, not all of the country, not all of India is changing at the same pace, right? What about students in tier 2, tier 3 cities or smaller cities who don't have so much access to these softwares and tools? What would you suggest for them, and how can life or education change for them?
No, there's a lot of buzz about AI across the country, across the world, and everyone would like to fashionably make a statement about AI, and every fourth word will be AI in their lines. So that you are considered very advanced and modern when you
relevant
say
in today's time.
So okay, advanced and modern and relevant. Okay, but then that's not the truth. The truth is that you don't have to put AI in every topic of your discussion. Also, you don't have to curate your topics in a conclave where it's in the age of AI. It's understood. It's in the age of AI. It's in 2026. It is understood. I think the core is what do we do in response to that. So that's the first point. Second point is that the inequality of access of various technologies to study in the first place, to access to use it in the second place, is always going to be there. The inequality is always going to be there, no matter any technology. For example, the government provides welfare schemes, putting Raitu Bandhu schemes and money into the accounts of the farmers. That is also not accessible to all of them. So what is meant to be a welfare scheme itself will have inequalities because of the incongruent measures that you take up in execution. And therefore, coming back to the technology that as modern as AI is considered, you're going to have inequalities. Even during the COVID, we had a similar kind of a question that if you take online education, there were 4 challenges. The challenge number 1 is how many of them would have devices to actually, log on to listen to your online classes. Then how many of them would have power to enable those devices work, access to power, access to internet, access to bandwidth. And then you will have to also comprehend and make good of what is being taught. That's another challenge. So not everybody sitting in the room would comprehend anything that I would say or you would say in an instant, in a jiffy. Each one would have their own learning paces. And that's the reality of this country, and around the world, that's the same reality. If institutions understand that and governments understand that, they will provide technologies and learning solutions which are at their convenience. These are multi-paced, multi-sorted for multiple segments that we have. What I'm trying to say is that there's a reality, and that reality is diversity. And when you look diversity in a different prism, it looks like it is inequality. But then I'm turning it around and saying that there is inequality. We start with that, and therefore we have to provide solutions which are at multiple paces and multiple directions to cater to so many people in the country. I don't know if I've answered your question, but let me take a detour here. How many of you are from KL University? Okay, those who have not raised hands, which university are you from? Which institution are you from? See, nobody answers this question. Okay, I'll help
We'd like the attention from the students. There are students from KL University. What other universities are students from? Name your college.
దమ్ముంటే మీ కాలేజ్ పేరు చెప్పండి. ఇప్పుడు దమ్ ఎట్లొచ్చింది? ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చిందో ఈ దమ్ ఇప్పుడు? అదే కాలేజ్ కదా, కాలేజ్ పేరు మారలే కదా. తెలుగు, ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ ఫర్ దాట్. ఇట్ ఈస్ ABP Desam, సో ఐ విల్ స్పీక్ ఇన్ తెలుగు ఓన్లీ. ఎందుకు భయపడ్డావు? వేరే ఎవరైనా మాట్లాడితే తర్వాత నేను చెప్తా అనుకున్నావు కదా. ఓకే, ఏ కాలేజ్? సెయింట్ జోసెఫ్స్ నుంచి ఎంతమంది? ఒకే ఒక్కడు, నలుగురు. ఆమె రైట్? మిగతా కాలేజ్ ఇంకా చాలామంది ఉన్నారు అక్కడ. రూట్స్ హౌ మెనీ ఆర్ ఫ్రమ్ రూట్స్? నించోండి. Take their picture. I'll send it to Mr. Padala.
Maybe that's why they were not naming the institutes.
No, they should name. Your chairman should know that you are here representing the college. It's a beautiful college. మిగతా వాళ్ళు ఎనీ అదర్ కాలేజ్, ఎనీ అదర్ కాలేజ్. ఫ్రెష్గా ఎంటర్ అయిన వాళ్ళు ఏదైనా కాలేజ్ నుంచి వచ్చారా? నో. ఓకే. Carry on. What I'm trying to say is that whatever we speak and transact on this stage has to be useful for them. For the next 5 minutes or 7 minutes that you have for me, I will speak without jargon. I will speak in simple language. You can ask any question.
Completely.
You can ask any question, by the way, if you want to ask.
So I think the most relevant, the relevant point you said, it's not just about AI. It's not everything is not AI, correct. It's the digital age, the world is changing, we've all understood that. But now our graduates, are they all industry ready? When somebody says industry ready, what are the gaps that, from your perspective, that are not being fulfilled? What are the gaps?
There is something called opportunity literacy. Opportunity literacy is not there among people. Financial literacy is not there among people. So an investment banker has given some kind of a tip, 1 or 2 tips. Prior to that, digital literacy was something which people were talking about. One 18-year-old Aryaman Maheshwari was talking about. He gave you a lot of tips. I am talking about opportunity literacy. That is, if you find any celebrity, there's going to be one film star also going to come here, I guess.
Dr. Shreyasi Sen.
Yeah. When the film star is here, some of you will take a picture and put it on Instagram. That's the end of it. But a few of you will do, you will take a picture, you will put it on LinkedIn definitely, but you will also connect with them beyond this interaction and ask for an internship, ask for some mentorship, ask for some new idea because you have some businesses to take forward to, or you want some ideas or soundboarding of your business idea to be tested with that individual, that leader, that person you are meeting. So opportunity literacy will give you all these thinkings, all these thoughts to make good of the presence of an individual beyond a picture. So some of you do this, some of you do that. Those who do the latter have got greater opportunity literacy, and that is a very important thing that the institutions will have to inculcate to make these kids, to make these youngsters future ready, business ready, employability ready, so on and so forth.
Hands-on experience is also very important. So as director ICFI Group, I want to understand what are the processes or real-life examples that you can tell us of how hands-on exposure has been introduced to students in your institute.
Our campus is run by students. Our alumni sit on the board, and our campus from day to day is run by our existing students. The university campus is split into multiple student clubs, and they continue the agenda of the institution in terms of the club activities. And those clubs are economics club, there could be a business club, there could be a photography club, there could be finance club, there could be business decisions club, there could be environment club, NGO club, so on and so forth. There are many clubs. So all these clubs conduct roughly about 1,500 events only in Hyderabad throughout the academic year. Say that's about 9 months. 1,500 events when they conduct, they make plans for those events, they take approvals, they take financial fund from us. Yeah, I like the spotlight.
Yeah.
When they seek funds, they are questioned. They justify the projections, and then they go and execute. They overrun the budgets. They come back and explain. They are running all the real life skills in handling these events in a much more credible manner than we would have imparted them, putting them in the classroom. That is also going on. In ICFI, classes are pretty serious. We run classes over dead bodies. I mean, it's that serious. We don't cancel any class even if the Prime Minister of India is on campus. There's no question about it. That's a different story. But what they would have learnt in the classroom is one, and what they are learning inside the campus by doing activities, by engaging with people outside. They invite all the guests. They invite all the guests, they introduce all the guests, they study the guests, they handle the placement process, they coordinate with all the guests, they bear the brunt of the anger of the corporate executives sometimes. So all this is a must learn for them. So this is one of the examples of learning things by doing, learning things the hard way, and then of course we are there. But that's true to any institution. Every institution has got students, every institution has got faculty members. Why some of them are able to give them hands-on experience and learning skills, and why some are not able to do that? Every country has got, or every state in this country has got technology. All of you have got AI tools. Why are you not producing books? You will run down and say that, so it is AI generated, generative AI output. It is democratic to all of you. Why are you not using those skills? And any new technology is always available to people, but they generally don't do any hard work. They don't have that business sense to harness a technology or an opportunity that is given to them. If we can make our students understand this wonderful aspect, I think we have given them an opportunity to grow. And behind this, there is a strong philosophy that ICFI follows. What is that? Can we make students be prepared for something unexpected? I'm using very simple language. Be prepared to handle something that is unexpected. మనము ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేయనిది ఏదైనా జరిగితే ఏ విధంగా హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి. దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఓన్లీ థింగ్, ద సమ్మరీ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ దట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు ప్రిపేర్ యూ ఫర్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు ప్రిపేర్ యువర్ సెల్స్ ఫర్. సో యూ విల్ ఫాల్ ఈజ్ అ గ్యారంటీ, యూ విల్ ఫెయిల్ ఈజ్ అ గ్యారంటీ, బట్ హౌ విల్ యూ రైజ్ ఆఫ్టర్ ఫాలింగ్? You will be very, very thoroughly educated in all the latest cutting edge technologies that we are teaching in the classroom, and some of them are not really cutting edge. No institution can teach cutting edge technologies. It will be taught aside of the classroom only. They will be acquiring it. But how do you tell them that there is life beyond what you teach also? How do you tell them that there is life beyond success? How do you tell them that there is life again beyond failure? Handle something that you are not expected. So if that is the philosophy, then you will have to prepare them for all of these things and guarantee them the failure. Not just in exams. You will fail in exams definitely if you don't study. You will fail in your entrepreneurial ventures. You will fail in your relationship statuses. You will fail. You will like a boy and a girl, and the guy and the girl will not like you back. It will run for 2 months and it will not run after that. Relationship failures will be there. You will have business failures, you will have conceptual failures, you will have health problems, you will have sports failures. Failure is a certainty. But then after that, how do you rise? How do you actually build yourself back into the system, into the reckoning, and then you will win eventually, is what matters when the institutions stay with you, when parents stay with you, when society stays with you.
So picking up from what you're saying, failure of course is a part of everyone's life. Relationships, education, work, everything. But in this, we're talking about graduates, and in this hiring landscape, what do you think matters more now? Marks or the mindset a graduate is bringing to the company? What matters more?
Yeah, good question. Two of the youngsters were answering those questions also. Marks are very important. Don't be under any kind of a misunderstanding that marks are not important. It looks cool if I have to tell you that, somebody is a dropout from a college. Dropping out from a college is not a strategy to become the founder of Apple, right? I was talking to one chairman of an hospital. He was saying, I don't want to hire MBAs, I want to hire more doctors. Please go ahead and hire doctors, definitely. But that's not a strategy to run the hospital. Who will run the hospital? Doctors will not run the hospital, right? All 10th fail candidates, I will give you 10 of them, 100 of them. And you do whatever you want to. You generate entrepreneurs out of them. You will not. So that's only anecdotal. Ante just a example laga untadante vinadaniki chaala baaguntadi, but that's not reality. 2 crore salary is also not reality. Hyderabad in IIT has got 2.5 crore salary. Andariki raadu, okarike vastundi. Inkekado North India lo there is a university which has got 2.5 lakh crore of salary, which is a fake, which everyone knows. But don't go by that. Your salaries will be pretty normal. The IT industry has not given any salary beyond more than 35,000 rupees for the last 10 years. They have not hiked the salaries. Average of us will get that kind of salary. So point I am making is, marks are important. Being stable is extremely important. Don't drop out from any course. Learn much more and be very, very practical and simple in your mind.
Thank you, Sudhakar sir. I think your advice has been absolutely practical for the students. You've spoken to them with language they understand. By the way, sir is a fantastic speaker. He's also authored 6 books. If you'd like to talk to the students about those books, and if somebody would want to read them and probably learn from them as well.
Okay, I have written the first book. It's called Wise Views, Lessons from the Game Changers. It's a podcast that I run every Friday. I have conducted so far 226 such podcasts. It happens every Friday, no matter where I am. It's online. So, summary of my lessons from the Game Changers is titled as the book called Lessons from Game Changers. Do we have the books here, Vaisar? We can show it to them. So that is the first book which I authored in 2022, in the beginning of 2022, I think. It's now roughly 4 years since I have authored that book. And after that, I have authored 5 more books in the last year, that is 2025. Okay, this is the first book. This is Lessons from Game Changers, and I do leadership conversation. We are not journalists to do interviews. We are management guys to do podcasts and leadership conversations. So this is Lessons from Game Changers. This is not for sale. If you want copies, I will courier it to your college free of cost. The knowledge is not for sale. I am not promoting my books here. I'll change my language when I come to sell a book also. That's a different story. The second book is First Forever. First Forever is a mini biography of our founder of ICFI. He was a great visionary and entrepreneur, and amazing decision making power that he had. He had great people sense that is captured in this book, and it's a very, very inspirational book. You should definitely read. This is priceless, which means we don't sell this, but we will distribute this like sweets if you want. Then I authored this book. It is called Divisima Business Fables. This is originally meant for children in the age group of 8 to 14. None of you are in that age group. Schools are buying this book in bulk. This is for sale. It is 405 rupees, 450 rupees, sorry. This is available on Amazon. But these are 17 stories around animals. The animals are discussing, talking to each other, and they are solving problems of business, entrepreneurship, leadership, empathy, critical thinking, so on and so forth. In school, you are taught maths, physics, and history or various other subjects. Not that you become a mathematician, not that you would go on to become a politician or a historian, but it is only to give you the basics and fundamentals. But why business is not taught in school? So we thought there is a gap, and we authored this book. And when we authored this book, the students in undergraduate, that is BBA students, BCom students, MBA students, are liking it very much, and some of the parents are also liking it very much, apart from the school community. So this is called Divisima Business Fables. If you follow my LinkedIn, you will see a lot of book reviews on this as well. Then I authored this book. It is called One Step at a Time. One of our alumni, her name is Dr. Nishchita Muppavarapu. She studied MBA with ICFI. After studying MBA with ICFI, she has gone on to do MBBS, which is pretty strange, yes. She always wanted to become a doctor. So after finishing MBA, she has gone to MBBS. And after finishing MBBS, she has done some kind of advanced courses in the US and Europe. And she has become an aesthetic dermatologist. Some of her clients are some simple human beings like Rajnikant, Kamal Hassan, Stalin, KTR, so on and so forth. So she came back to me and said, I would like to put my lessons and learnings together. So in various modes of decision making, in various turns and twists, she had consulted me. I was her mentor throughout the journey, and she wanted to capture all that. So this is not a biography. This is basically the journey navigated with the help of mentorship from me. So we put it together. It is called One Step at a Time. This is for sale. It's available on Amazon. And there is another book, the last one. There are 2 books. One I gave it to our
young coder.
Young coder, Maheshwari. It is with him, so I don't have that copy. Maybe you can flash it, they'll look at it. Or it was there, you would have seen it also. That is an economic narrative on the evolving landscape of AI. We are saying that AI is not just a bubble and much more. We are saying that AI at an enterprise level is not doing well. AI at consumer level is doing very well. The babysitting phenomenon is rising in various enterprises, and they are also leaving the organizations. They are fed up with the role clarity or lack of role clarity, and they are becoming solo entrepreneurs. So based on data, based on reports, we have put up this argument. So it's an economic narrative, and we are saying that in all tech cycles, the investment versus return, there is always a lag. In this, there's going to be much more of a lag, and people will get disillusioned. There will be a lot of bloodbath, there will be a lot of trauma on one side in the investment is concerned, but on the application side, we need to gobble up all the courses, all the exposure that you can get. You should keep on learning. As far as you are concerned, you don't have to cut down on your learning. Do not economize on anything. You can become your own entrepreneur by becoming deployment ready in AI. Your fluency is what you will continuously work on right from day one.
Sudhakar sir, thank you. There's one more book I know, but the students will definitely get on your LinkedIn page and get all the details. Thank you for the insights and the practical updates, and thank you for your time and being a part of ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sudhakar. I'd like to invite Mr. Sunil Goswami to kindly come on stage and felicitate Mr. Sudhakar. Well, your thoughts have clearly highlighted how the integration of skills, industry exposure, and the right academic ecosystem can transform students into confident professionals from day one. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put a big round of applause for Mr. Sudhakar Rao, everybody. Well, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, if the future of education is being rewritten, it is being rewritten not just in boardrooms and institutions, but also by young minds who are bold enough to challenge the way we learn. Our next session, Smart Classrooms Reimagined by a Young Innovator, is a powerful reminder that age is no barrier when it comes to creating impact. At just 18, he is a coder, an educator, and a change maker who is transforming the learning experience through technology and innovation. Please join me in welcoming Aryaman Maheshwari. This session will be moderated by Ms. Rifa Chabra. Rifa, kindly get on stage and let's get the conversation rolling with Aryaman. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, this one is going to be super interesting. I want all of you to be super active and energetic. Rifa, over to you.
Hello and a very, very warm welcome to ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave. And today I have with me a whiz kid. A lot of you must not even have thought of such great things to do at the age of 18. And he is building the future of thousands of other kids along with his own future. Now, he is also transforming computer education across government schools in Telangana with something that is called teaching cooking metaphors. So can you tell us what these cooking metaphors are? Because it's something I'm hearing for the first time.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, ABP Desam, for inviting me to this conclave. I think events like this are super important to kind of shape the future of quite arguably the most important industry that we have right now. So Smart Bharat, the concept behind Smart Bharat is essentially there's a lot of infrastructure that exists inside government schools in Telangana, and to be honest, all across India as a result of corporate CSR initiatives or even the government's own initiatives. The problem is that despite this pristine infrastructure that exists in these schools, and to be very honest, like until 2 or 3 years ago, even my own school didn't have this kind of quality of infrastructure. There's no soft support that's installed within these schools after the infrastructure is set up to actually teach the students how they can exploit the, or I guess exploit is the right word, but indulge in the facilities that are set up for them. And this comes with like pretty good internet, quite a lot of the times, projectors, computers, etc. But there's no teachers, right? So
currently,
yeah,
you're involved with about 21 government schools,
correct,
right?
yeah.
So do you plan on expanding that elsewhere other than Telangana?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So primarily right now we're actually working with Telangana model schools to set it up in these 21 schools that you mentioned. But we also have a lot of NGO partners who work pan India. So I hope to expand to Andhra, Karnataka, Mumbai, potentially even Delhi as well in coming months. But the concept behind Smart Bharat is essentially how can you kind of plug into this existing infrastructure to address this huge gap that exists of the lack of computer teachers.
So, so I was also going to come to that. We live in a country where there's definitely a huge infrastructure gap, right? Connectivity, internet is not penetrated everywhere. Am I right? So these government schools that you're working with, how are you, trying to ensure, how are you bridging this education gap?
Right. So actually, like I mentioned, and contrary to popular belief, the penetration that exists for internet and these computer facilities is actually very high in a lot of these government schools because of the corporate CSR initiatives and whatnot. So what we're trying to do is plug into that existing infrastructure by creating educational content and then dubbing it to the local language. So the reason that there's no soft support that exists in these schools despite all of this infrastructure is I identified 3 key pillars. One is budget constraints. So if you look up like the average cost of a computer educator salary per year in a government school, it comes to like, I don't know, 13-14 INR a month, 13-14,000 INR a month. And if you scale that to the 1.1 million government and government aided schools that exist across the country, the number comes up to some like absolutely absurd $2.4 billion a year just to install a single computer teacher in every single school, assuming that many teachers even exist, right? So budget is absolutely a huge issue. The second pillar is availability, right? Computer education as a subject is still very privileged, quote unquote privileged, right? As unfortunate as it is. So this $2.4 billion statistic is assuming that many educators even exist in the first place, right? And the third key issue is language, because the problem is that these students are so linguistically underserved that the majority of them only understand their local language, which is, for example, in Telangana,
Hence
Telugu.
the use of the metaphors that
Yeah, the metaphors and the dubbing, which I'll come to in a second. So essentially, these three pillars is what we try to address, and the way that we do that is by creating a ton of educational content in-house, teaching computer education through these very dynamic interactive videos that use a lot of cooking metaphors. And after that, we dub all of this content using artificial intelligence, using speech AI, to the local language that the students are most comfortable with. And then alongside our NGO partners and the government, we kind of deploy that in the schools.
Just out of curiosity, is AI able to do that well?
Yeah, that's a really good question actually. So speech AI, I guess I'll give you a bit of my background as to like why what landed me into this space. So I'm someone that's been fortunate to have a ton of early exposure, right, from a very young age. I was born and brought up in the US, and I moved to India, I think when I was 8 or 9 years old. And there was this very stark difference that I saw in educational attitudes when I moved from the US to India. In the US, I had a ton of early exposure. I had a lot of encouragement from my academic environment to pursue the most random of things, right? Like I would create websites. One story that I really like to tell is that I set up this sandwich restaurant on Uber Eats, which is like the Zomato alternative of the US when I was a kid. So I had a lot of opportunity
How old were you?
7, I think. I was 7 years old.
Already cooking stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hence the cooking metaphors. But yeah, so as a result of that, I had all of this early exposure, and then I very, very firmly believe that early exposure is what kind of shaped who I am today, right, and all of the skills that I've acquired to be able to do initiatives like Smart Bharat. But then when I moved to India in, I think, the 4th or 5th grade, there was this huge, stark difference in educational attitudes. I have thus far experienced, I think, 4 curricula, and yeah, I mean, it's really quite shocking, right? So
but you're sure it's changing now, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And other than Smart Bharat, what other initiatives are you currently involved with?
Right. So one of my key initiatives is something called Builder Group, which I started when I was in, I think, the 8th or 9th grade. And that was actually a result of, the stark educational shift that I saw. I saw so much young, ambitious, driven talent that just didn't have the right enablement to pursue whatever they were interested in. As a result of which I founded Builder Group, which is currently a 6,000 strong community of young, technologists and innovators, spans over 100 countries. And I've seen such incredible success stories come out of Builder Group just by kind of accommodating for the deficits of the traditional education system. Like one story that I love to tell is there was this young kid, he was from Kerala, super bright, right? 14 years old at the time of the story. And he was building, a ton of different projects. He acquired like tens of thousands of followers on Twitter. He won something called Product Hunt Maker of the Year, which is like, if you're not aware, it's this thing you have to beat up thousands of adults for. A very prestigious thing. And he was doing all of this at 14 or 15 years old, right? His parents, both of them were teachers, one day decided that, like as you see, like abhi padhne ka time nahi hai, matlab ye sab pe dhyan nahi dene ka, like you hear all those dialogues, right, in traditional Indian society. And so unfortunately he was subjected to that reality, as a result of which he wasn't allowed to even pursue these extracurricular things outside of his traditional like JE path or whatever. Thankfully, I think a year after this incident, he was kind of allowed to get back on the path of pursuing whatever interested him. And just yesterday, I actually found out that he was accepted, his startup was accepted into Y Combinator. He's 18 years old, which is just insane, right, for any 18-year-old. So I think the kind of success stories that I've seen come out of Builder Group have really reinforced my belief that, traditional education, while it still has its merits, I think the standard 8 subjects that exist just do not do justice to the kind of capabilities that a lot of these students have and the kind of things that they can end up doing eventually, right? And so, yeah.
Okay, now you tell me, EdTech, when we talk about EdTech, what is your philosophy behind EdTech? I mean, it's...
Okay. So I'm reminded of this quote from this movie called Coach Carter. And it's this basketball movie. And the coach says to his boys, it's a basketball team, you are all student athletes, you are students first. And when I think of this quote, while it's not directly an apples to apples comparison, I really think that the same philosophy applies when we think about educational technology, right? It's very easy in the AI age when you can do basically anything by like 2 Claude prompts to think, okay, how can we accent our education system with as many possible AI interventions, right? And it's very easy to get caught up in that fad. However, I think that it's futile unless we actually consider the state of education. And this goes back to my argument with Builder Group as well and my general conviction in education, which is that if we're not proliferating experiential, dialogic, exploration-oriented learning in classrooms that actually allow students to explore beyond their traditional 8 subjects and really go deep into the most arbitrary of fields, right? Then I think that there's really no point of including technology in the first place if we haven't fundamentally redefined what education means, right? And as Mr. Rahul rightly pointed out in the previous session, like even in higher education in India, like you have all of this rote learning and this very, cut and paste mundane, like, okay, you read this and then you paste it in the paper, like that just doesn't work, right? And I find it fairly, even like today in the AI age, I think the assessment model also needs to be redefined quite starkly. I find it quite ridiculous that you can, with just a couple of prompts, you can complete an assignment and you're not critically thinking about anything that you're doing in that assignment, right? Especially like as a student myself, as someone that goes to school, like I see this happening on day in and day out. So I think we need to really fundamentally define how we assess our students. Like as Sam Altman says, there's this AI voice that exists right now where like people just do not think about what they're writing at all. There's no intentionality and everything is just so, it's just also homogeneous, right? All of the content that you read. So I think we need a model of assessment to be a lot more conversational in schools. And I know that these are some very, very grandiose visions, but I think like it's very possible to kind of introduce this into the education system, slowly, I guess, until we, ultimately reach that ideal system where, learning is primarily through interaction and conversation, and there's a lot of...
Would you ask students to steer clear of the, cut and paste prompt kind of learning?
Yes.
Obviously, but how do you integrate then AI into your
That's a good
classroom?
question. Yeah. That's a tough question. I think like this again goes back to kind of redefining how we ask students to use AI, right? If we don't have these kind of opportunities for them to paste in a prompt, copy it, and then submit it as an assignment, and then get graded on their completely unoriginal work, then I think that's one way of addressing the problem. I don't think AI is a bad thing. Like I think in
If used as a tool.
yeah,
of
if used
course,
as a tool, then it's a very good thing. So I think just making assessment more conversational and turning teachers in the classroom into kind of facilitators for this conversation-based assessment is very important. I also think potentially teaching prompt engineering in the classroom is it's a little.
Something that you'd consider teaching?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to teach it, of course, but I think integrating it as part of the curriculum could be quite interesting to see how our youth can interface with these models responsibly and actually use it productively rather than completely replacing their critical thinking.
Okay, now data mining is another term that people throw around a lot these days. How can you integrate that into classrooms to make it slightly interactive?
I'm really glad you asked this question actually. So one of the key projects that I've been working on in education aside from Smart Bharat and Builder Group is something called Neurovision. And I'll get into what it is in a second, but I don't know how much this happens in India really, but in a lot of institutions, especially in higher education, they like to kind of use assessment metrics of students to determine how effectively, how effective the pedagogy is of a teacher, right? And I think this creates a very large feedback loop wherein, a teacher teaches something, let's say in like March, and then you have the assessment in June or July, and then you're kind of going based off of the results of student in those assessments to determine how effective the teacher was in her own teaching, right, in his or her own teaching. And this is wrong for two reasons. One is because there's just so many different factors that can influence performance in something like an examination. And two, it doesn't give you the pinpointed insight that you need to figure out where your pedagogy is actually captivating and where it's helping students learn, whereas where it's making their engagement wane, right? So as a kind of antidote to that, in the educational data mining space, something that I've been experimenting with is this tool called Neurovision, as I said, which is this camera module that you can install in classrooms it's this privacy first camera model that you install in classrooms to analyze the aggregate student attention in an ongoing lecture. So like, let's say if this was a lecture hall, for example, and I had a camera set up right here, it would in real time analyze all of your attention spans and deliver aggregate reports to the educator.
That's interesting.
Yeah, while mapping it to the content of the lecture. So we have like a transcription thing running, and it's very easy for them to see after the end of the lecture, okay, in the first 10 minutes, I was speaking this and this and this way, and I was using this and this and this techniques, and that caused a huge peak in the engagement levels of my students, whereas 14 or 15 minutes down the line, it caused a drop. Why did it cause a drop? Now you can like use some kind of generative AI model to analyze the entire transcript and the graph of student engagement and see, okay, what caused my, what pedagogy was captivating. And I think this kind of ties into my general vision right now of just improving the way that we consume knowledge, right, as a society, whether that be in government schools wherein you're delivering high quality educational content to the students that are traditionally locked out of it using high quality AI dubbing, or at the potentially higher education institutions, or in private schools or in international schools where you're just improving the quality of teacher student interactions, right?
So now you're 18, right?
Yeah,
You started
18,
this
yeah.
journey when you were 17?
Journey for like education as a whole, or?
Yes, education.
I think my specialization in education probably started in the 10th grade, so like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
But it's always been very close to me.
So you've you've decided to do this mammoth of a task, right? And you're just 18 today. So when you walk into a room full of giants, how do you get them to take you seriously?
That's a good question. I think today, if you're in the right rooms, no matter what your age is, I think people are generally always very willing to support young people that are interested in a specific domain. And I actually want to kind of cite Builder Group here. We were truly one of the first communities that has ever existed that is cross-disciplinary and promotes, young people that are interested in different domains. And I think that really inspired a revolution of, micro grant programs or accelerators or, incubation incubators for young people specifically. And that's also really caused this kind of mentality shift, in my personal opinion, where if you're in the right spaces, then no matter what your age is, people will tend to take you seriously. And in addition to that, I think, evidence speaks louder than any words can. So instead of, blabbering on for like hours and hours, when I, do meet these influential or these giants, as you said, I kind of just show them the work instead, right? So when they hear this like this completely AI localized output that's, conversing, that's dubbing my voice as someone that doesn't speak any Telugu whatsoever into like perfect Telugu that government school students can comprehend and use to understand a subject as technical as computer education, as locked out as computer education, I think the seriousness starts to develop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you tell me, what do you think is the future of EdTech, not just in the state, but in the rest of the country as well? And what are some models that you think we can add that are, presently being practiced that can be replicated elsewhere also?
That's a good question. I think, again, it just goes back to experiential learning, right? I know, like, my own school, for example, has been pretty pivotal in giving me the right opportunities that I need to advance my own exploration. Like, they have tie-ups with grant programs, for example. They've been able to give me a lot of different opportunities. And I think just kind of seeing this mentality shift where the education, the institutions themselves are encouraging students to pursue things outside of the traditional 8 subjects and really driving them to explore, the most arbitrary of fields. Like, for example, if you, let's say, expose a student to biotechnology one day, then building the right avenues within the classroom for them to fully go into biotechnology. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't like it. High school isn't the place for specialization, but in my very frank opinion, it should be the place where students are given the opportunity to explore frankly, anything and everything that intrigues them, right? And so I think just kind of inculcating this more exploration-based, discovery-oriented learning process in the classroom can be quite beneficial, yeah.
And how do you think we can make this accessible to because not just in Telangana, there are other parts of the country, like I said before, where infrastructure is a very big challenge. How do we make it accessible to the most remote corners of the country?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is actually something I've thought about quite a lot. And in my previous response, by the way, I wasn't referring to rural schools specifically, but I will now. I think India is a country that has one of the highest mobile penetration rates in the world, right? So while traditional programs, what they try to do is, go and install computers in schools and maybe teach for a couple of months, and then unfortunately go on, an indefinite break after that. I think the right approach could instead be to have this kind of communal sharing setup wherein, let's say, even these NGOs that work in proliferating access to computer education, instead of setting up an entire computer lab in a school, maybe you set up 1 or 2 computers in a village, and then you give students and you give learners the opportunity to learn how to use that infrastructure via their mobile phones, right? So then all of this content, for example, that we're developing for Smart Bharat, that is AI localized, you just shove that on a mobile app, you put in, a couple of gamified interactive exercises, and like actual simulations of how the computer would run, for example. You allow them to practice that at their own time, and then, based on some kind of a communal sharing philosophy, they can actually implement it on the computer. It's not ideal, but I think it's a lot more sustainable than, just focusing on a couple of schools and giving them this very half-hearted treatment for a couple of months, right?
Okay, now to end this conversation, one last piece of advice to all the students sitting here, and what was it that really pushed you to do this, and what would you suggest that they should do to get on and pursue something like this?
So, couple of things. Talk to everybody. You never know what you can find in a conversation, and I think, especially coming to places like this is such a good opportunity to mingle with other people, no matter what their domain is, right? You never know the kind of things that can come out of it. Some of my best ideas have been formed in, conversations that I just would not have expected whatsoever with the most arbitrary of people. So talk to absolutely anyone and everyone. That's number one. And network a lot, because you never know who those people might know that can actually get you to the places that you need to be fruitful in whatever it is that you're pursuing. For example, this NGO that I worked with for Smart Bharat's initial phases called Nirman, they actually hosted a conclave. It was actually at Radisson, but in the high-tech one. And over there, I had the opportunity to interact with Shri Krishna Aditya Garu, who is the director of Telangana Board of Intermediate Education, who then connected me to the model schools director. And so you never know like who knows who and where you can get to just by talking to people, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, create your own opportunity. While the education system isn't this ideal utopia wherein you're fully allowed to pursue whatever you want to do and like actually indulge in this exploration based learning, I think you need to try and take any advantage that comes your way. Like for example, I skipped an exam to be here today, so you need to really make that opportunity for yourself is what I would say.
So make the most of the opportunity. Thank you so much, Aryaman. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aryaman. A round of applause for Aryaman, everybody. Kindly stay back. I'd like to invite Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Director ICFI, to kindly come on stage and felicitate Aryaman. Can we put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, Aryaman. Thank you, Mr. Sudhakar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in a world where careers are evolving rapidly, financial literacy is no longer optional. It is a life skill. The real shift today is from earning money to building wealth, from job seekers to value creators, and from spenders to smart investors. This session, Money Mindset Matters. Raising investors, not just earners, is about transforming the way young India thinks about money. And to decode this for us, we have someone who is redefining finance at an age where most people are still figuring out their career paths. Please join me in welcoming Appala Sai Kiran, the youngest investment banker who is inspiring thousands of young minds to think beyond salaries and towards financial growth. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And with this, I would like to take this session forward in conversation with Sai Kiran. Well, Sai Kiran, firstly, a very warm welcome to Smart Ed Conclave by ABP Desam. Before we begin, I'd like to ask the students something. How many of you are currently earning? May it be through freelancing, through internships, or through any side hustle, or through pocket money for that matter. How many of you are currently earning? Can I see a raise of hands? Anybody? Okay, I can see 1, 2 hands. Okay. All right. Now, how many of you are investing? Yes, the one who raised the hand there at the back. Are you investing by any chance? No? All right. Okay. So, well, today's session is not just about making money. It's about building the mindset that makes money work for you. So, Sai Kiran, you've entered the world of investment banking at an age where most people are still in college. So what sparked this early understanding of money and wealth creation?
I mean, firstly, my whole journey into the investment landscape started at 18. Right now I'm 22. But when I started off at the age of 18, it was about making money accessible to startups. That was my first goal. People keep saying, money is accessible, and every, venture capitalist out there says, we are open to new ideas, we are open to new things, but technically that's never the case. Okay, money is not that easily accessible. Neither, raising funds is very easy as it's shown on news channels. Every day we see news about, some startup raising funds, but it's not that easy. They have gone through months and months of rigorous process. So when I started off in the investment banking space, I started working with startups, to raise capital. That is how I started with Scope. So Scope initially was an invite-only platform in which we worked with family offices, venture capitals, HNIs, angel investors, in helping them direct their capital to startups, early stage startups. And then eventually it became, we raised funds from Tim Draper, then we went on from Microsoft startups, and for Scope specifically, up till date, I've raised around $92 million up till date. And after raising that, I started my own venture capital fund of $45 million to invest into early stage, deep tech and gaming companies. So that is how, from 18, my journey started off. Firstly, initially, it was more exciting to, see how money flows. Then I wanted to have my own skin in the game.
Right. So, Sai Kiran, like you said, you started your journey at the age of 18. Now, out of curiosity, I want to ask you, where did your first capital come from?
My first capital came from my mentor, Kim Perel. So, she is based out of US, Miami. I cold emailed her for around 8 months, and it was rigorous. I followed up every day.
So, consistency is the key here.
Consistency and shamelessness, both are the keys. But yes, following up for 8 months, and one day she definitely got fed up and she was like, let's give this kid 10 minutes. Either, he'll impress me or, I'll say thank you so much for your time. But luckily she got impressed, and, that is how I got my first capital, and I got my mentorship also. How do I use the capital wisely?
And how much was it for?
It was around 100K USD.
All right. Okay. So, what do you think, at what age should someone make their first investment? And does the amount matter?
I mean, amount does not matter, neither does the age matter. Okay. It's good if you have, financial literacy at a very early age. But I mean, honestly, any time is a good time to start in this field.
Right. So, talking about financial literacy, what do you think is the biggest mistake that the current generation or that students are making currently?
If you want financial literacy, delete your social media. Because technically what's shown on social media on financial literacy, it's very funny or peculiar at times that I find, how things are flaunted, or, how things are, put forward. I'm not saying all the information is wrong, but majority of them is, portrayed in a manner where it harms a lot of people who actually take those advices really seriously.
Right. Okay. So, if a 19-year-old comes to you with 5,000 rupees, what would you advise him?
See, if a 19-year-old comes to me with 5,000 rupees, firstly, being in private equity space, I mostly handle that space. I wouldn't be able to help him with 5,000, him or her with 5,000 rupees in private equity space. But I would, first initially inculcate the habit of, creating a SIP. That is the initial habit.
Right.
That, builds consistency.
Correct. Okay. So, in your journey, what mattered more? Access to capital or access to the right mentors and ecosystem?
I guess access to mentors and, right people was more important, because even though if I had capital, I would have blown it in a very bad way if I did not have the right guidance.
Right. So, coming to that, that actually makes me come to my next question. How do you actually build the mindset to take risks when the money does not come from generational wealth?
So, generational wealth, if I have to talk, like my dad is a regular guy, 9-to-5 job. Mom's a homemaker. Okay, there's no generational wealth over here. Okay, but the risk appetite comes from, having this very simple fundamental. Okay, now people have this mindset of when they want to do something risky, okay, they have this very small thing hitting in their head. What will people think about me if I fail?
Absolutely.
When you have that mindset, I'll just switch to a bit of Hindi over here to make it a bit comical. Okay? तूने कमाए क्या जो खो रहा है? 18 साल का तो है, ठीक है? माँ बाप फीस दे रहे हैं. There's nothing they will ever think about you. You have nothing to lose. Okay? From zero, you might get into negative, but you were never in positive in the first place. Okay? So that mindset of you will lose something, or people will think something about you, trust me. We are not that big enough for people to think about us yet. So just go ahead and take a risk. Maximum you will win, minimum you will learn, but you will never fail. As simple as it comes.
That is such an amazing advice. Can we all put our hands together for that? Well, what does raising investors, not just owners, mean for you?
Raising investors. I mean, it would, come down to, really delivering that promises for investors. Okay? Getting an investor is not the tough part. Okay? That is one of the hurdles, but it is not the biggest hurdle. Maintaining a long-standing relationship with your investor, that is the toughest part. The biggest challenge comes in keeping up the promises that you have made. Many of times you won't be in a situation that you will be able to keep your promise, but you still have to keep it no matter what. The moment you lose an investor's trust is the day you lose your access to this whole world of private equity or finance or anything. Never lose your investor's trust whatsoever. Neither, if you don't know anything, ask. Don't be afraid to learn. Okay? When I entered, I never knew the fancy jargons of IRR, DPI, none of that term sheet. None of these jargons I ever knew. Okay? I learned it, people taught me, I went to rooms, when they used new words, I asked them on the spot, what does this mean? So ask it. That is where the concept of being shameless comes. Okay? When I tell being shameless, people take it extremely, but that's not what it means. Okay? Being shameless is forgetting the fear of, people will think something about you. People are way too busy. They don't have the time to think about you.
All right. So now with your experience, tell me that there is one thing to earn money, right? And then there is another thing to make that money work for you, right? Make more money with that money, okay? So now what is the difference? And if you have to just explain it to all the students out there, what is the difference between earning money, that is making money, then secondly, managing money, and then thirdly, making that money work for you? Or if you have to define your journey, how you earned money and how you managed it and how you made that work for you, if you can just give your real life examples.
Now, for example, I won't go into the private equity space because that gets very complicated, but
yeah.
I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, now a person doing 9-to-5 job, okay, he or she's working for money. Okay, when they're saving it, they're managing the money, but when they're investing it, they are making the money work for their later on period.
Right.
So it is as simple as I can keep it. That is how you manage, you invest, and you work for the money. You work for the money only up till a certain period of time, but after that you need the money to start working for you. Otherwise, all the wealth or all the money that you have had accumulated over the years is going to vanish in a day, and you can't do anything about it.
That too with the increasing inflation. Exactly. Right. So now if you have to, give them certain sources through which they could, make more money out of the money they already have, right? You've already suggested SIPs. And apart from that, is there anything you think you can, for starters, suggest the students seated here?
I mean, I'm not a capital markets advisor, but I mean, if I can give a private equity example, if you want to ever get into the private equity venture capital space, okay, be consistent with approaching people, okay? Do not expect responses in a day or two. That is never going to happen, okay? The people who you reach out to are busy, okay? And private equity space, you won't believe, but it's a fact, okay? The people in private equity space are more harder to catch than the people in capital markets. I can get hold of a capital markets person, but I can't get hold of a private equity person. They're not that easy to get hold of because the volume of money that they handle is enormous. And if you want to invest in private equity space, you know, the best way to start off is, you know, go to AngelList, join a syndicate, start off with your investments with 5 to 10,000 rupees, okay? That is how you start making investments. And then, you know, once you eventually keep growing, your portfolio keeps growing, you will have more startups in private equity space. And honestly, the returns in private equity space are much larger compared to capital markets for me, at least from what the trends I have seen. So if you want to start off in private equity space, what I can suggest is, you know, go to AngelList or any of the angel syndicates, make a small investments and, you know, expect your return in like 3 or 4 years or 5 years, whatever the syndicate's duration of the fund is. And that is your way to actually start small but get into the private equity space initially.
So, Sai Kiran, we've learned so much about your journey. Can you also tell us what are the challenges that you faced in this competitive financial ecosystem?
I mean, my age was the biggest challenge, I believe. You know, convincing people to trust a 18, 19-year-old kid with, you know, millions of dollars, they used to think I came drunk. Either, you know, so I used to actually, you know, I had to actually build a reputation from small, you know, get an angel investor, mentor, create, you know, a advisory committee, then, you know, have startups vouch for me, then go to my LPs, like limited partners who invest in my venture capital fund, go to them, raise capital from them. It was a humongous task for me. And honestly, whenever I went to this room, okay, of raising capital, they initially, you know, it was tough for them to believe also that I was the one who was going to generate returns. Are you kidding me? But yes, I was the one who was going to generate them returns. But eventually, their reservation is not wrong. Okay? Trusting whoever you trust personally the most, okay? If you trust a person the most, the two things you're going to hand them is your promise and your money. You don't hand money to people whom you don't trust, and generating that trust takes time. So that was my biggest task for me, to build that trust with a person.
What do you think is the biggest difference between an earner's mindset and an investor's mindset?
I guess in earners, a person who has no, from what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, from an earner's perspective, are you talking about the person who is just happy with what they earn? And
correct, correct.
So with the earner's mindset, if I see, they have no long-term vision. Okay, they're happy with the present, that's all.
They're just happy with the way their life is going.
Yeah, how their life is going, they're happy with it.
Right.
But investor's mindset, okay, this is, I know I'm in a smarted enclave, but let me just keep it very brief, okay? I'm a dropout, okay, but I'm not one of the most favorite students of my teachers, but I really loved my librarian, okay? The one good piece of advice that she gave me was, you know, greed is not bad if it's under your control. Greed is what gives you ambition, okay? As long as you have greed under your control and you are able to, you know, satisfy your greed under your control, you are going to achieve great things. That's how all, you know, I've seen all the successful people come up, or, you know, new inventions coming up. So I guess that is what I call an investor's mindset. I guess none better than my librarian can actually describe it. Greed is good. That is an investor's mindset.
I love that line. And I actually totally relate to it. So, well, okay, lastly, if you have to define wealth, what would you say?
If I have to define wealth, what would I say? Good question, honestly. I have to think on this. But if I have to define wealth, I have to just say one word: freedom. That's all.
Amazing. Can we all put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give it up for Sai Kiran. Lastly, what would you say to those who are still waiting for the right time?
It's never gonna come. Just go ahead and do it.
Now is the time?
Now is the time.
Wonderful. All right. Let's hold that thought and put our hands together. Sai Kiran, that was not just a conversation about money, but this was a masterclass on mindset, discipline and future readiness. Thank you so much. It was amazing to have you here with us at the ABP Conclave, Smart Ed Conclave. And I'd now like to invite Mr. Nageshwar Rao to kindly step on stage and felicitate Sai Kiran as a token of our gratitude. Our next session explores how institutions, educators, and industry must come together to build an education system that is not just relevant for today, but resilient for tomorrow. To discuss this crucial theme, we have with us a distinguished panel of academic leaders and education inventors. I want all of you to please put your hands together for Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh, Director, Vignana Jyoti Institute of Management. A round of applause, come on ladies and gentlemen. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh. Joining him, we have Professor Koteswara Rao, L Principal, KLH University, Hyderabad. And Syed Hamid, Director, MS Education Academy and a National Awardee. Can we all put our hands together for the gentleman, everybody? To moderate the session, I'd like to invite Vidhi Maheshwari to kindly come on stage.
We have senior educators joining us for this panel, and I have to say at ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave, we've had some very interesting conversations, from the youngest investment banker to an 18-year-old coder to talking about how schools are changing, how universities need to change, EdTech. A lot of conversations have happened. And we all have understood that AI is not coming. It's already here. Change is happening and education systems need to evolve. Firstly, I'd like to thank all of you to join us. I hope you're all feeling well, doing well. So you all can take your mics. So firstly, I'd like to ask, are degrees becoming secondary to skills starting 2026? I'd like opinions from all of you, sir, starting with you, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much. I want to put it this way. How do we validate somebody's learning? There has to be a system which validates. And those degrees are validation. So it's not going to be irrelevant. That's point one. Point two is learning is changing. I will reflect on how we learn. Sir is here, sir is here. In our time, the learning was knowing. So if you know, you have learned. So repository of knowledge was learning. Somebody knows he is a pandit, he is an acharya, he is a teacher, great teacher, because he knows things. Today, it is the job of ChatGPT to know, Cloudate to know, Perplexity to know, not my job to know. So now the learning has shifted from knowing to doing. You should be able to do if you have learned. So this shift is paramount. Those institutions who are able to crack the code of learning, they should realize this. The generation is not going to listen to know. They have their devices to know. Make them engage to do, and then you have a lively classrooms. Thank you.
Absolutely. So your opinion on this, about degrees. It's a conversation that's happened. Are degrees irrelevant? Are only skills important? I'm sure they have to go hand in hand.
Yes. Definitely degrees are not irrelevant. They are relevant. At the same time, the industry is driven by the skill. So definitely when you have a degree sufficiently stuffed with skill, which is more important, just getting the degree will not be sufficient for any opportunity when you step out of the campus. But at the same time, like you said, use the technology, upskill, yourself, then only you become more suitable and relevant to the industry outside. So my opinion, degrees are just the entry tickets to enter the industry. It is needed, but at the same time, skill is much more needed.
Sayed sir, your opinion on this debate?
Yeah, fully agreeing with the honorable two panelists. My opinion is slightly different. Google doesn't need degree and they don't check degrees when a candidate is called for an interview. Apple doesn't check degrees at all. Come to many Meta AI, they don't look into degrees. No doubt the importance of this valuable paper for which we all struggled and got degrees is decreasing. But then what is that they look at? They look at the skill set, the skills and the experience. Skill, as we all know, is no doubt takes knowledge into it. And the CEO says, is this person having competency? So the competency refers to not only knowledge, what sirs referred, but also skill. It is knowledge plus skill is competency. If the student or the candidate has knowledge and also a set of skills that they need with a bit of experience, then he is absorbed into their companies. So there are many companies, the list goes on and on, about 36 I have seen, established companies, they don't look at the degrees. But we know the importance of the degree and we struggle, we go to other countries to pursue higher education and get the degrees. So both the ways it is there, but its importance is slowly decreasing and focus is on skill set. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
If I am allowed to add a point here. See, I will compare it with a typical pizza. If you don't have base, can you top up a pizza? And when we are talking about skill for whom? A human resource. And human resource without a value, what skill is going to do? And those formative years of 3-4 years of degrees which they earn in an institutions, not only imbibe those skills, but those lifelong values for which I am saying it's important. They should learn how to work in a team. They should learn what integrity is. If you don't teach those things in 3-4 years of program, then they will justify scamming you. It's an industry and I want to work in that industry.
I guess becoming industry ready is not just about learning tools, it's also about having your soft skills, having team building skills, having confidence.
So respecting people, working in a team, learning how to behave on a road, not having a road race mindset, learning how to deal with a woman, a female, or something like that. There is a plethora of learnings which happens when you get into a college and undergo those 3-4 years. And then when you add all those skills, which is like a top up of a pizza or an ice cream, it holds good.
So in no way are institutes competing with AI. We're technically collaborating with it, teaching you how to learn to use AI, right? So obviously the curriculum of an institute has to change. It can't be the conservative curriculum that we followed. So what are the changes that your universities have brought in and what do you think should come in? As a whole education policy, I would like to know from all three of you, sir, starting with you, Sayed, sir.
Please repeat that question.
So the whole evolution, as in we have to collaborate with AI, we don't have to compete with AI. So curriculums have to also adjust with it, change with it. So what are the changes that institutes are bringing in now?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Something like early adoption. There are countries which are dominating and have produced a number of tools under AI. For example, China dominates and then South Korea, then Japan. Are we so far behind, lagging behind? No, absolutely no. About 10 years ago, the CBSE started 25 additional subjects. Under that, AI is the first additional subject. 10 years ago, we started these kind of additional subjects, in addition to those 5 important subjects like math, science, social studies, English, Hindi. What is the use of these additional subjects, sir? all these additional subjects focus on set of skills. Skill, as we all know, it is a special ability to be acquired personally involving. It is experience and exposure that gives skill. It is something like hands-on, not just theoretical inputs. Along with theoretical inputs, the person is performing and acquiring that skill. So I may, normally I quote to my students that if I have a beautiful car and if you ask me to describe that car, I have only knowledge. I describe the car, it has 4 wheels and beautiful body, these, that. I have only knowledge. But if I sit in the driver's place and start driving it, that means I have to acquire necessary skill there. So that knowledge plus skill is my competency. So the various tools that are there now are dominating even natural intelligence. Artificial intelligence is dominating. The artificial intelligence is not only dominating, but socially, emotionally interacting with human beings. Most of you might have heard cobot. This collaborative robot is fitted with so many sensors that it is very sensitive to human beings. Its weight is hardly 6 to 8 kgs. You can lift it and use it, handle it. Now if we see a robot here on the desk, we normally get scared to touch or go near that. But this cobot, which is very much used in the school education and college education, is very friendly. And in fact, it is called cobot because it is a collaborative learning promoter. So wonderfully it is going on, and so also not only CBSE introducing so many skill subjects, universities have introduced. Our own state, Telangana state, has introduced Skill University, which is temporarily located in Gachibowli, and our neighbor Andhra Pradesh has introduced a Skill University in Tirupati. Like that, we have number of colleges. Wonderful thing is Andhra Pradesh said every member of parliament should identify a PG college or a degree college and start skill-oriented courses in that college. So there is focus, there is preparation for the future.
And what about faculty training? It's not just about changing curriculums. Koteshwar sir, I would like to ask you, what about training the faculty as well? Because it's not just on the students to learn and upskill themselves. Your teachers have to be trained as well.
Yeah, this is a more important question. To add few points to what sir said, curriculum itself is there to support the learning, especially for the new generation. Start from the day one. If it is a 3-year course or a 4-year course, you start integrating AI into it. If it is a mathematics, you tell that age-old mathematics what we learn has been changed into mathematics for AI. How you are going to teach mathematics for AI. So where the faculty members have to be equipped with the knowledge as well as the practice before they go in front of the student. So as an institution, before floating a course relevant to the industry, like you ask for curriculum or the tools, not just the tools, it's also about the intuition to learn, also to adopt the changes in terms of the practices. The faculty are trained closely working with the industry. Suppose there is an industry, a person having more than 15-20 years of experience, but is confined to industry, we invite them or call them as a professor of practice, and then we make our faculty members get trained by him or her, and then we introduce our students. This is the new course that is integrated into our curriculum, where a lot of changes have been made to the curriculum as part of the readiness for future, especially to play with the tools or to use the tools of AI, to run along with AI, not to worry about the AI. So where the faculty development programs will play a vital role. Apart from that, faculty members will have their own ability to learn by themselves based on their experience as well as based on their learning abilities which they have obtained over the years. So definitely the faculty members have to be equipped with the required skill set to travel along with AI instead of making afraid of the especially the students should not be afraid of AI or the AI tools.
Bharat sir, I want to understand, we're talking about curriculum, we're talking about faculty. The next step is the mindset of students and parents. Now, because knowledge is quite easily available, we're not getting into the depth of it. We're asking AI tools to take care of the job and do it for us. How's the mindset of students shifting, and how are universities helping them to cope or learn and collaborate with AI and not just be dependent on it to do their jobs?
Well, I'll put it this way. Today's student are not student, they are also educating us. They are 5G. We started with 0G, then we got 1G, 2G, 3G, then to 5, 6G. So they are digitally native guys. We immigrated from bullock carts to this IT. So I have a lot of respect for students when they come to my campus. And today, what student is saying has to be heard, because they are talking a lot of sense, because they have plethora of information. Parents are also not that educated as the students are. So therefore, parents and teachers, they have to join together and understand their point of view. That's point one. Second, what I'm trying to say today, when I say learning is changing in the era of AI, it basically means that this generation cannot wait. When a teacher does not respond to the WhatsApp in 5 minutes, they get irritated. When a mail reply doesn't come in 24 hours, they feel like this guy is of which generation. This mindset has to change. If I have to live with this young generation where our median age is 28, I have to be like them or get out. That's point one on mindset. Second, AI will never do our job. It will facilitate to do our job 10x, 20x, 30x.
Correct.
But it will never do our job. So we have to use AI as our assistant, or maybe as a facilitator, or somebody that can contribute to quickly finish my work. Like for example, if I am writing a research paper, I remember when I was doing my doctorate, I took 1.5 years to do my review of literature. Today, had it been the AI era, probably I would have done in 1 month. Yeah? And I did hardly 150 research papers.
Hardly 150.
150 research paper, I took 1.5 years to do the review of literature, looking at my other work schedule. But today things are becoming faster. So their mindset is the relevant mindset. When they are agitated, when they want things faster, they want things quicker, they are aligned with how things has to happen. How we are doing at our campus, we are led by a young Chief Minister, Revanth Reddy, who is spearheading, as Sir was mentioning. He was very quick in announcing Young Skill India University. We don't have infrastructure. He said, I can't wait. So he has housed that university in an old building, and the infrastructure is coming up. That's point one. He is focusing on skill. Second, if you talk about our group of institution, I come from Vignan Jyoti, where we have about 10,000 engineering students and about 600 management graduates and other arts and sciences. We are in the forefront of integrating AI. Every quarter, we are doing an audit of our faculties, how much they have integrated AI. Yeah? We have established a center of AI where the faculty is tasked to explore what is coming on AI. So we made them to visit AI Summit in Delhi just to have an idea how things are happening. We run almost every 2 months one FDP program. As you said, the faculty has to change.
Correct.
The protocol or the template of how an organization has to operate today, especially higher education, has to drastically change. Students can't come and wait in front of Dean's office. He should get an appointment and his work has to be done online 90% time.
In this day and age, that's what people expect.
This is what is expected. So when we are saying students are feeling frustrated of these degrees in the colleges, because we are not evolving faster than their expectation. If you are a campus of that side, they will love to come to your campus. But when you will make them wait, you are not responding to them and you are not relevantly teaching to them, you are not engaging them with the projects and the kind of engagement they are looking at it, we are out of place. and that is not having any timeline. If you don't do, you are just out. So as an institution, we are spearheading in that direction, and government policies and government thrust is also in that direction. As I had said, Hyderabad and Telangana is a news for the country. We are ahead of almost all the states.
It is the new education hub,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about, while Hyderabad is doing it, what do you think should be done at a national level from a policy point of view? What should be introduced in schools and colleges?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was there in Delhi for a particular meeting. So now even AICT and UGC have understood that the way they were functioning is not the right way. So they are also aligning with AI companies where all our appraisals, all our institutions accreditations and approvals, they are going to happen on a breakneck speed. So AI will evaluate an institution's documents and immediately they will generate a scorecard that can be validated through another tools, and then the institution's courses, approvals and everything can happen. So now even at the policy level, government has realized that if the tool is available which can fasten your work, there is no point in working the old fashion. So every ministry, every secretaries have been tasked to explore how they can use a technological tool or an artificial intelligence tool to improve their performance, improve their productivity. And it's happening. AI Summit was an example wherein they wanted to provide that sort of, I would say, catalyst approach over there. And everyone understand because this is how things has to happen. So enough is being done at the central level. And I'm sure education is something which is not done in fraction actually. People get educated in 16 years, 20 years. But tools will help them. What was being done in 2 years, 3 years can be done in probably 1 month, 2 months. The skills which they were taking longer time to grab, probably it can cut down by 1/10 or so. That's how things has to happen. So enough is happening. Our expectation is only we should, as a higher education institution, being in Hyderabad or anywhere, our expectation is that whatever policy comes, it has to be consistent. We should get some breathing time to actually adapt to the policies. It should not change again and again. And we should be able to allow whatever is being planned. We should be able to do that before something new comes.
And in
That
this day and
creates
age,
confusion.
something new will come up so quickly. So I actually wanted to ask you as well, future readiness is, like he said, we need some breathing time. Colleges also need to adapt, teachers need to adapt. But future readiness does not start in colleges, it has to start earlier. Schools have to start adapting. So what changes should schools bring in?
That's a really wonderful question. We have been talking the last, I think, many years. The changes should start from the college level. But if you see the countries like China or other countries, the transformation has already started at the school level, where the school children are given the orientation or exposure to latest trends. It can be AI or some other technology tomorrow. But at the school level, even in government schools, our students frequently visit as part of the learning program. They visit the government schools, they talk to the students. Our students go and teach some coding skills to the students of government schools in Hyderabad. Whenever they come back from the program, they proudly or they happily say, sir, when we visited a government school, the students at government school are much better than expected. The government has initiated such a wonderful initiatives where the computer labs are provided. The students are fully exposed to the technology and computer literacy, which is really beyond the imagination. So in a similar fashion, the schools should be given much exposure or the AI tools or any technology tools at the school level. We shouldn't wait till the class 10th or class 12th or the degree or any post-graduation. Rather, we should start at the beginning phases when we teach the basics of fundamentals at the zero level. That stage is the right stage to introduce any technology, even if it is, we think that's too early, but you should always follow the top-down approach rather than bottom-up approach. Like sir said, the generation has less patience to learn. They are very quick and they are very fast.
We want the results fast also.
Yes.
But I guess AI literacy is something which will become fundamental in schools like English or maths. AI literacy will become equally important. Sir, because we are running out of time, I would want all three of you to give a message to all the students out there who are probably getting confused using too much AI, probably overexerting their brains using coding but not using their own analytical skills. What message would you want to give to students ending this debate about how a degree might not be relevant today as well?
One thing all of us present here should carry home message is ethical use of this technology. Well, it has entered our drawing rooms, bedrooms, nonsense and misuse, abuse is increasing. So how are we going to educate the next generation and see that that part is curtailed or controlled at least? Today's papers also show how the face is read by the helpless person who comes pretending as if he is helpless, asking you to find out his pension is credited or not, and everything data is read from my face or from my touch or whatever it is. Today's newspaper gives that kind of report. It is a bit scary and threatening. So let us use it for good, and it has invaded our classrooms at the school level. As a person concerned or attached with the central board with 35,000 schools and in 25 different countries, we have introduced these subjects where computer sciences, of course, is existing for the last 30 years. Apart from computer sciences, AI is an additional subject, as I said in my opening remark, and also IT is another subject, and informatics practices is another subject at the +2 level. So school level there is awareness, and it is percolating down from the universities and colleges. It's a nice and good sign, but this misuse and abuse, we all need to think and try to control it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
To add one point, ma'am, while going out of the campus, when you start a career or you have your own startup, you should always think whether my technology, my AI can solve the problems of the society in a responsible way. And always there are so many problems. It's not just AI. It's always about robotics. Like sir said, multiple domains are open to explore. Instead of confining to a specific area like AI, you should always integrate AI in every platform and also to solve the problems at every level. And a country like India needs a lot of implementation of AI into agriculture, healthcare, pharma. A lot of domains are there where the student next generation can look at the problems, find out the solutions. Along with AI, definitely AI will find out a lot of solutions, solutions to the problems that we face as a big country in the world. And they have to be so responsible. Whatever the skills that they learn as part of their graduation, that should be useful for the society.
Thank you, sir. Sir, your inputs for students.
Yeah, my message to all the students here is, see, Rolling Stone doesn't gather mass. You need to have patience to succeed. If you are in a hyper world, it doesn't mean things can happen the way you want. Success will come when you spend some time and you have the patience to wait for the time to come. Because options are enormous, plethora of options are available. If you don't give the gestation period for a particular options to work for you and you move to a next, to the next, to the next, you will find frustrations setting into it. So AI or no AI, success mantra has always remained one, that your life is a marathon. You have to be focused and run towards your goal and have that patience to wait for the result. Don't become impatient. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us in this absolutely insightful session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh, Professor Koteshwara Rao, and Mr. Syed Hamid, for your perspective that has clearly shown us that in the age of AI, education must go beyond degrees and move towards adaptability, innovation, and real-world relevance. I now request Mr. Sunil Goswami, Head News Video ABP Live, to kindly come on stage and felicitate our panelists. Special thanks to Ms. Vidhi Maheshwari, our moderator, for steering this engaging and thought-provoking conversation. Can we all put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen? Well, can we have some louder round of applause? Why is this energy so low in the room? Thank you so much, everybody. Well, from the world of skills, careers, and employability, we now move to a conversation that celebrates passion, purpose, and the power of following one's dreams. Success is no longer defined by conventional career paths. It is defined by the courage to follow one's passion and transform it into purpose. Our next speaker is someone who has done exactly that, carving a unique identity through talent, dedication, and an inspiring journey. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Shreyasi Sen, an actress, a performer, and a true example of passion meeting perseverance. Can we all put our hands together? And this session will be moderated by Ms. Rifa Chabra. Rifa, requesting you to kindly step on stage. Let's welcome the ladies with a big hand. Come on, everybody. Well, over to you, Rifa.
Thank you. So, Shreyasi, welcome to ABP Desam's
Thank you so much for having
Smart
me.
Ed Conclave. She's a doctor, she's an actor, and she's got the best of both worlds, right? When did you complete your MBBS?
I completed in 2025.
And you have a film already out in February 2026.
Yes.
How long did it take to make the film? 3 years or something?
The
no?
film was shot over a span of 3 years almost. I mean, not just the shooting, in the post-production, and yeah, the whole process took about 3 years. So I was in college when I shot for the film. Then I finished my internship. I moved to Hyderabad. I started working at Apollo Hospital, Jubilee Hills, and the film released.
So she has done her MBBS, which is obviously not easy, and you're an actor now. How did you do it all together? Because being a doctor is definitely not easy. It's something a lot of us aspire to be. I did aspire to be a doctor once. How did you do it? How difficult was it?
It was difficult. There was a point of time where I told my mom that I should drop out of college. I can't do this. She said, no, you have to do it. And then I did it. Yeah, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, discipline and dedication and time management, all of that is there. But I think I am a multitasker by nature. I discovered that through the process. And I used to take breaks for exams, 2 months, 3 months of straight, nothing but studying. And I missed classes, so I did extra classes to cover up for that. So it was quite a journey, but I think, I mean, it taught me a lot about myself. So I'm very grateful for going through that.
So hard work does take you places. Now you're a Kolkata girl, right?
Yes, yes.
And she's playing a Telugu Ammai in
Yes.
Nilave.
Right.
And I've heard that the director, the music director, the actor, a lot of them are from Karimnagar, and you were recently there for your promotions and all of that.
Right.
How was that? How did how did the audiences receive the film? How was it?
I think the response we got in Karimnagar was overwhelming. Also, a lot of it was because so many people from the team are from there. But I'm very new to this field. It's just the beginning for me. And I'm new to Hyderabad, I'm new to the state of Telangana. And I think when I went to Karimnagar, that was just I think 3 or 4 days after the film released. And the welcome was, I mean,
Overwhelming?
I loved it.
Okay, so it was your debut film.
My debut, right.
Do you intend to continue?
I do, yes.
So would you call yourself a full-time actor now or a full-time doctor?
I call myself a full-time actor who's also a doctor.
Okay, lovely. So now did you always want to be a doctor?
Yes, I did. I mean, I felt medicine felt like purpose since I was a kid, because I saw, like, I have some doctors in the family. I saw what it takes to be one, the kind of responsibility that medicine brings, the kind of respect that it brings, and how you can give back to society. I mean, I did deeply want that for myself. But again, that's where passion comes in, I think. I always had an interest, an inclination, a fascination towards cinema.
Did you like look up to someone who you wanted to be like?
Yeah.
Like an actor?
I used to look up to Aishwarya Rai a lot. Okay. I think she was so graceful, so brilliant. I was like, wish I could be something as close, a little bit. And yeah, a lot of movies. Bollywood played a big role. I was not so exposed to South cinema as a child back in Bengal. Bollywood played a huge role. But then again, you know, I think a lot of people at some point desired to become an actor.
Okay. Now, we've watched a lot of films and we've watched a lot of medical procedures happening in these films, okay? What is the most absurd medical procedure that you've, watched someone carry out in a film that you said, I will sue you for doing this?
Giving anesthesia outside the OT. It doesn't happen.
Anything else?
I think the BP checking, through just touching the pulse and saying the BP, the blood pressure, absurd.
Okay. Now, you do find time to, I mean, I realize that you're, serving your patients, and you're, half the time when you're not in the hospital, you're probably shooting for do you have any upcoming projects?
I mean, talking to a few, but it's not fixed yet. And also, I was working. I resigned working, practicing medicine right now, because I want to pursue acting full time. So I'm taking a break from that. So I'm giving acting my full shot. So
what else do you do apart from that? Do you like watching? Do you like binge watching?
I do like binge watching. I also sing. I mean, I believe I sing fine, but I learned
Why don't you
singing.
sing something for us, like 2 lines?
Don't do that.
2 lines. Would you all want to hear her sing something? Just 2 lines.
I now have to think of a song.
Something on.
I cannot sing a song from my film, because the songs are really, really hard, and Telugu.
No, anything. I think even Hindi or...
Okay, I'll just sing something from Ashiki too. Okay? तू ही मुझको बता दे, चाहूँ मैं या ना, अपने तो दिल का बता दे, चाहूँ मैं या ना.
Amazing, lovely voice. Okay. Now, have you, since you're into acting now, was there any phase where, you had gone for auditions or something, or faced any kind of rejection ever?
I'll tell you something interesting. I was never actually actively pursuing acting. So that this whole thing happened during COVID first, when for a year and a half there were online classes. So there was no physical attending college. So I was back in Bengal. And I was just sitting at home doing online classes, and my mother said, why don't you do this beauty pageant? There was an advertisement on your newspaper. And I participated in that. And through that, I started getting modeling offers. And from there, Bengali cinema approached me first. And they asked me to sign a 2-film contract with them, but that did not work out, again, because the second wave of lockdown hit. And I came back to college, but by then my pictures had circulated quite a bit through agencies. And then Nilavay happened. That's how they approached me. So no, not that I faced any rejection as such, because I was not actively going around productions or trying to pitch.
Okay, some failure in life, you know,
Some
even as
failure?
a student.
Some fail. Yeah, I mean, of course, like marks wise, I might not have lived up to.
You're a young doctor. You're an actor. Was there any?
First year of college, I didn't do very well in my first semester, and also because I came right out of home and I was in hostel, and I wasn't being able to focus. The medicine, the course it's a huge jump from school. You know, it's not just the biology that you study in school. So I didn't do very well, and I felt like I'm not fit for this. Maybe this is not meant for me. But then
You pushed
took
through.
the bull by the horns.
Okay, now let's do like a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
Ready? You'll have to answer really quickly, okay? Stethoscope or spotlight?
Spotlight as of now.
What's more fulfilling, seeing a patient walk out fitter or the thunder of loud claps after your movie screening?
Both, cannot choose.
Okay, what's the fuel that keeps you awake when you're, working late?
Working late as in?
When you're working late, when you're shooting late, or when you're in the hospital, burning the midnight oil.
My passion towards cinema, my passion towards medicine. I am very, very passionate towards both.
Okay, one myth about practicing medicine that you'd like to break.
One myth about practicing medicine that I'd like to break. That medicine gives you a lot of money. It doesn't.
Okay, if your life were a web series, what would it be called?
If my life were a web series. It would just be called Daring.
Daring. Okay. One Tollywood star that you would like to act along with.
I've been saying this in every interview. Ramcharan sir.
Okay. I hope the message gets out. Now, one piece of advice to all of these youngsters sitting here. I'm sure a lot of them want to pursue different careers, but they all have certain aspirations and dreams in life. How did you achieve your goals? Some piece of advice for them.
I would say don't confine yourself. Just because you had one dream doesn't mean the dream cannot evolve. You can have multiple dreams. And also, I feel like your degree is not a cage, it's your foundation. Do not limit yourself. Go out there, do what you want to do. And eventually things will happen.
And what is your end goal?
My end goal?
Yeah.
My end goal is to become a superstar and also to have my own hospital someday and give back to people. Also, I don't want my parents to think that I wasted an MBBS seat. So.
Okay, that was amazing. It was amazing talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreyasi, for that truly inspiring and heartfelt conversation. Your journey beautifully reminds us that when passion meets perseverance, it has the power to create purpose and a path that is uniquely our own. You have not only entertained audiences through your craft, but also motivated so many young girls here to believe in their dreams and follow them with confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a big hand. Mr. Sudhakar Rao, can you please step on stage and felicitate our wonderful speaker? Mr. Nagesh is somehow missing. Everybody, let's put our hands together. Nagesh, you can also join us on stage, please. We were looking for you. Thank you so much, everybody. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I wouldn't want to come between you and lunch, but our next session is going to be super interesting and very impactful. So, of course, something very new that we've not discussed throughout the day. So, throughout today, we've spoken about the future of education, the future of careers, and the impact of AI on the way we learn. And now, let's take this conversation beyond boundaries, beyond classrooms, beyond industries, and in fact, beyond our planet. Welcome to a world where AI meets space science, where students are not just preparing for jobs on Earth, but for opportunities in the new space economy. This session, Space Education in the AI Era, Preparing for the New Space Economy, is about skills, the mindset and the vision required for careers that are being created as we speak. And to lead us into this extraordinary future, we have someone who's not just dreaming about space, but living that journey. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Janvi Dangeti, Global Indian Analog Astronaut, scientist, astronaut candidate, pilot in training, and advanced scuba diver, a proud young trailblazer who's inspiring an entire generation to look up, aim higher, and believe that the sky is not the limit. A very warm welcome, Janvi. Firstly, a very warm welcome to ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave, Janvi. We absolutely love what you're wearing.
Thank you.
How do you feel about being here?
I feel happy and excited, and thank you for having me here.
So, Janvi, can we kickstart by talking about your journey?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my journey started from a small town of Andhra Pradesh called Palakollu, West Godavari, and I come from a place where people always used to think astronomy as astrology. So that's where I came from, and dreaming about space was always a distant thing. My dream started from the bedtime stories from my grandparents. They used to tell me about people, like a lady who lives on moon, and that's what fascinated me so much to dream for space. Yes.
So from these bedtime stories, Janvi, what was that one moment when you decided that, you know what, I just don't want to hear about this, but I want to literally go beyond the planet and literally make space your mission, your career? Because we don't see a lot of people, it's not very common for students to pick space as their career, right?
Honestly, when I started my journey, the path was completely uncertain, because I started when I was 3. I started dreaming about space. When someone asked me, how are you going to go to space? I used to say, like, how do you want to go to moon? I usually used to tell them that I'm going to build a big ladder that will take me to the moon. That was my dream in initial stage. Growing in a place that I mentioned earlier, it was definitely hard, but what made me to make it as my career was learning about astronauts who have already been to space, coming from diverse backgrounds. They're not only just from one particular background. That made me believe that space is having an opportunity or a freedom to build your own path. You doesn't necessarily have to follow someone's path.
Right. Okay, so now talking about career, can you give us some insights on space education? What are the skills required?
Okay. Space education is a very big pool. It includes so many different professions, diverse backgrounds, and all of that. But to break it down, earlier days when I began, space was always limited to government. Space is limited to government, space agencies and all, but now we are having private roles in India. We are having so many companies that are startups, different companies coming up, making space education more accessible to normal students. We can get internships easily in the space education and all of that. So I feel to be to work in space industry, you doesn't necessarily have to be a scientist or an engineer. You can be a data analyst and still work for space industry.
Okay, so there is a diverse amount
Yes.
of career opportunities in the
Exactly.
sector. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've spoken about space industry as a whole, you know that throughout the day we've also been talking about AI. So according to you, Janvi, what role do you think AI plays in the space economy?
Right now, AI is playing a very transformative role in the space industry. As an analog astronaut, I perform mission simulations on different environments, and during analog missions, we get enormous data. And I served as a crew scientist for my recent mission. I used AI for simplifying the data, which usually used to take a lot of time for me earlier, and now it's just making it so much easier. Apart from the smaller scale, when we go to larger scale, to train people for Mars or Moon, we use a lot of simulations based on AI. Let's say NASA has integrated system simulations, which is through AI and helping us to predict the unpredicted conditions and simulate high-risk situations where we can be more prepared. Because going to Mars is completely unpredictable and we can never know the risk of how it's going to be or what are the risks involved technically, physiologically, psychologically, and AI will help us to prepare us better in that particular area. And also, I want to add one more thing. When we talk about AI in space, let's say Mars, there are a lot of communication delays in, let's say we want to communicate who is on Mars, like with someone who is staying on Mars, it definitely take 15 to 20 minutes delay, and to get used to it, we definitely have to use AI.
Right, okay. So can you also list out certain skills which are, required to be a part of the AI-driven space sector?
I can tell you to be in the space industry, certainly, because as I said, it's a very diverse field right now. Anyone can be a part of space at the moment.
Okay.
And particularly in India right now, you have to be somewhere between the STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and since it's a private entity right now, so you can be a part in it from any of these domains or technologies.
But do you think AI today or in future can replace astronauts?
Very good question. I don't really think AI is going to completely, I don't believe that, because space exploration is meant for humanity going beyond the borders of Earth that we call our planet, and to understand how it feels, I definitely feel human presence is essential to go explore the space.
Right, okay. So what was the most challenging part during your journey? So we've just learned a few things about your journey. You've told us about the skills, the career opportunities. Now let's talk about the challenges.
Oh, one major challenge I've seen was being young in this industry.
Okay.
Yes. Being young always not every time, but most of the time it makes us feel lighter through our voice. And the other thing is, there were very few opportunities in the beginning, and this is not really a very, very good career at the moment, because going into space is a very long-term goal and you have to be very passionate towards it and keep working.
Right, okay. So how do you deal with fear? Have you ever thought that, because like we already discussed, that space sector is not something that people commonly choose as a career, okay? It's quite rare, even today. So did you not fear that, if you've invested certain time period of say about 4-5 years, and after that, what if you have to switch? What if this is not the career for you? What is your take on that?
Okay. I chose a career not for money. I chose a career to break the barriers and move beyond the humanity. And And of course, there were times where I was not sure about my path, felt really bad, but I always enjoyed the fear, which is giving me more strength to move forward with the dream that I want to step on moon someday. And
So if a 15 or 20-year-old wants to follow a path like yours,
Sure.
where should they begin? What should be their starting point?
explore. The basic thing is start exploring things that are around you, start learning, and for someone who is in the college or higher school level, they can start on basic research. Like if they start working on this research thing, they will definitely explore more about the subject and they'll have more questions. When there is more questions, then you get more answers, and while you're finding the answers, you'll try to meet more people, and through the connections, you'll end up in the places where you never imagined.
Right, okay. So if you have to really, convince any of the students here to, think about or consider space sector as a career, what are the 2 lines you would tell them?
I'll just share what I believed. You definitely doesn't need to have a clear path. You just have to begin. Just begin that, and automatically things will fall in place in the right time.
All right.
As other speakers said, have patience.
Right.
Yes, have patience.
Okay, all right. One word for space, if we have to have a quick rapid fire with you.
Sure.
One word that you would say for space.
End goal.
End goal. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. Mars or moon?
Okay. Mars definitely excites me more, but practically moon is a little closer right now, so I'll just go with the moon right now.
Amazing. All right.
Yeah.
AI or human instinct?
Humans were supported with AI.
Okay, humans supported with AI. Amazing. All right. Your message to young girls who want to enter space science?
Your gender definitely doesn't have to be a problem or a stopper. You just have to step out of your comfort zone and start working on yourself first, and then you will end up in good places. And never look back at the people who are, never compare yourself with other people who are doing better than you. That's it.
Right. One habit students must build if they want to achieve big dreams.
Consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah.
So consistency is the key.
Yeah, curiosity and consistency will play the biggest role.
Right, amazing. All right, thank you so much, Janvi. Can we all put our hands together for
Thank
Janvi for that truly inspiring and futuristic conversation? Your journey is a powerful reminder that with the right education, the right mindset, and the courage to dream big, the sky is not the limit, it is just the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Janvi, and I'd like to invite Mr. Sunil Goswami to kindly step on stage and felicitate Janvi as a token of gratitude. Well, I'm sure with this conversation, everybody here has started imagining something in the world of space. So let's put our hands together for Janvi Dangeti, everybody. Thank you, Janvi. Thank you, Mr. Sunil. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we come towards the end of the ABP Desam Smart Ed Conclave 2026, what we take back with us are not just conversations, but ideas, inspiration, and a renewed vision for the future of education. From policy to passion, from skills to space, today's journey has truly reflected the power of knowledge, innovation, and collaboration. On behalf of ABP Desam, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, moderators, partners, and our wonderful audience for making this conclave a grand success. Thank you so much for being a part of such an engaged and inspiring conversation here, and it's definitely been an impactful day. Can we all have a huge round of applause for all of you all, because you've been an amazing audience. And with that, this is your host MC Diksha Navani signing off, wishing you all a future that is future ready. Good afternoon once again, and the lunch is ready to be served. Thank you so much.